show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome in and good morning. This is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys?
Good day.
Good morning.
Good morning. You guys doing all right this Friday?
Oh, yeah. Most awake I've ever been in 3 years.
Never felt more alive.
Feeling good.
We got Tommy in here saying, I am miserable. The Raiders are lame. I can't believe they blew this game.
Yeah,
that's one of your better rhymes, Tom.
I texted Tommy the picture of the biggest, grossest looking tomato yesterday. When they lost.
It was bulbous.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I think I've been doing a lot of thinking about this bet, and like, okay, Tommy's got the upper hand because he likes tomatoes and I don't. But if you really think about it, the Raiders are your favorite team, and I could care less if the Broncos are any good. So
Who's the real winner?
So eat it, Tommy.
We got Maria in here. Good morning, Maria. She said, FYF, that's us. Here we are.
Maria.
And Craig in here saying, I hope Simon has something good baked up for the show today. Oh, man, we got lots of bacon to talk about today on the show. Holy cow, that was insane. Spooky in here saying good morning. What's up, Spooky? Welcome.
Good morning,
Glad to have you here. And Spooky showed up for our Q&A last night, asked if it was live, and didn't even know that he was asking a very sensitive question because I pulled the ultimate gaffe yesterday. Coop was on there with us. JL, I think you missed the beginning of that show.
Oh, I was informed.
We have a Q&A that's supposed to start promptly at 6:05 p.m. Eastern time on Thursdays. And me, Coop, and Joey, we're in there, and we turn on the song and we go through the intros. We're telling funny stories about Tim. Coop's getting on one. He's talking down. He's throwing insults at Mike Fiella. And then 6 minutes in, I look up and realize I never clicked live. It was lost.
How many days have you done this in a row?
The lost tapes, bro. They're lost to the archives, man. Some good stuff in there.
Oh, dear Lord.
So 6 minutes of tape that's never going to be seen by anyone. It's gone. It's gone forever.
It's probably for the better.
Beautiful. It was beautiful.
Speaking of gone forever, because of that gaffe, I officially retire from office hours. So sorry, gang. I donate my time to the needy, and this is what happens. This is what you'd pull.
We waste 6 minutes.
Joey is the needy.
I'm just glad it was 6 minutes and not 30 minutes or the full hour.
It could have been. Me and Joey had no idea, obviously.
Just no questions. You guys are talking.
I'm sitting there wondering where the hell everybody is. I'm like, what are the questions? What's going on? Like even the usual crew's not here. But we figured it out.
I had no idea you guys streamed late like that. Thought it was just 7 to 10. I know we got to post the schedule on the YouTube. Post it from the YouTube.
Yeah, we'll get that schedule up there.
On Wednesdays, I stream 9:30 Eastern time to 10:30, and then I basically close my eyes and wake up for the show. So. Close my eyes for 10 minutes.
You blink, and then it's time to wake up.
I found a little time-saving hack for everybody. I used it last night. Fall asleep accidentally with your contacts in. Then you don't have to put them in the morning. It's a little bit of a time saver.
I think I've told this story before, but there was a girl at my high school who was like known for being the most unlucky. Like in elementary school, we were doing a woodworking project, and she accidentally got hit with a hammer that got flown across the room and sent to the hospital. Her first time playing soccer ever, she broke her arm. Like it was just like a running thing. And so she's had glasses her entire life. She finally gets contacts. The very first night, she falls asleep with them in. The contact gets stuck, and she comes to school with an eye patch the next day because she had to go have it removed.
Oh, dude.
So this poor girl is like so excited to finally get contacts, and the next one day without glasses, and the next day she's back in glasses and has an eye patch on.
So she's basically Eugene from Hey Arnold.
She's Eugene from Hey Arnold, 100%.
Yeah, that's actually kind of dope.
That's sweet.
Maria said, ooh, that hurt just listening to it. Yikes. Guys, it is that time of morning. I hope everyone here has got their breakfast with them because we've got everything else. We've got the news stories, the topics that we need to talk about. You just got to bring your own breakfast.
Yep.
And guys, I honestly don't know if there's any other way to start off today than to talk about the comeback that Baker Mayfield led for the Rams last night. I'm sorry, Tommy, close your ears, but unbelievable what Baker Mayfield did off one day of practice with the Rams. They're down 16-3 in the fourth quarter, 2 drives, a 75-yard drive, a 98-yard drive, and they win the freaking game with 1 day of practice under the belt for Baker Mayfield.
My favorite quote on that was from Bill Barnwell, who said the Raiders lost to a coach that had been an NFL coach or had been a coach at any level for only 6 days. Then they win 3 straight games, and then they lose to a quarterback that's been on the roster for 2 days. Like only the Raiders, right?
Only the Raiders. Yeah, that was brutal. Absolutely brutal. What'd you guys think of Baker in this game?
He looked pretty good. He was making throws. Like the reason he got drafted first overall was his ability to make some of those like mid-range throws with high accuracy, and he was nailing them with receivers that he hasn't played with, right? Like he hasn't had time to establish the rapport, and he's out here hitting these guys on some pretty sick routes, some pretty sick passes. There was one pass to Ben Skowronek on Skowronek. I learned how to say it yesterday. Skowronek, that's it. There was one throw to Ben Skowronek on 3rd down in the first half where I was like, okay, Baker's got it. Like he's feeling himself right here.
I mean, maybe they just need to simplify the playbook for him. Maybe the other playbook was too complicated. He just needs that 2-day playbook.
Throw left.
Yeah.
You throw right.
Handoff. The plays were called handoff, throw left. Yeah. White guy. Right. Those are the names of the plays.
That's the one where you throw to bed.
Yeah. They called that 8 times yesterday.
My favorite quote was from Baker when they were asking about it. He said they gave him a simplified playbook that he was studying. Like it was a simplified playbook for 2 days to get in there. He said Sean McVay went away from that. Sean started giving him detailed explanations in his headset of what he wanted him to do on that play, that they had a simplified playbook. But at a certain point, Sean McVay took over and said, like, here's what we're doing. Here's how the play is going to work. You're going to run it like this. And then Baker's out there running the play. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that Sean McVay said, okay, I know this is what we said, but let's do it. Come on, let's go. Let's go, Baker.
I love that, dude. I see Albert in the chat. How about those 2 tight ends last night, Coop? Where, dude? What tight ends? I didn't see any. I'll tell you what, dude. I don't always get it exactly right as to what tight ends to start, and what tight ends are going to be the tight end of the week or whatever, but I'm usually pretty good at telling you which guys to stay away from. Foster Moreau and Tyler Higbee moving forward and probably forever, you can stay away from.
Yikes. Yeah, Foster Moreau, not a good start.
Neither was Higbee, dude. Higbee had 2 catches for 11 yards. Tell you later.
I guess Foster Moreau was one where like there were some false positives leading you to think you should start him, right? No. With Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow. Like I saw a lot of people wanting to start Foster Moreau.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that really always it's so weird there are players like that people just like they love them and it doesn't make any sense. I'll tell you another one. Donald Parham. If people even get a whiff of a possible Donald Parham game, they lose their minds. I still to this day have no idea why people are just obsessed with Donald Parham. But
I know why. Ham comes from a hog. The dude has hog in his name. Donald Parhog.
And they get hogged up, dude. I can see that, dude. Everybody getting
Parhog.
Donald
Parhog.
I kind of
hoggled Parhog.
I kind of want to see some hoggled Parhog then.
Hog.
I think I understand.
Just replace all the syllables.
I get it.
We did get Albert Breer tweeted out all-time line from Harvard's own Ryan Fitzpatrick on the Amazon post game. Baker Mayfield said he couldn't believe the Raiders lined up and pressed man on the game-winning touchdown. And Fitz deadpan says the defensive coordinator went to Yale. Just absolutely throwing shade. And then he followed that up with another great one here. Baker Mayfield said on getting to LA as fast as he could after the Rams claimed him, I took a gamble. I booked the flight before the waiver wire went through. So Baker was on his way out there. Right? Remember we were talking about the mid-flight, throwing the playbook across flights?
Yeah.
He was already on his way, man.
I mean, there are 2 teams in Los Angeles. There are 2 teams in New York. So, I mean, the odds are in your favor to just fly to one of those cities.
But what if you were wrong? Sorry, I'm on a flight right now to LA.
Just tell them there's a layover. My layover's in LA. I'll be to Houston in minutes. I promise.
In minutes. Your layover from Carolina to
sometimes it's like that though. Sometimes
right.
I'll be flying to Cleveland, Ohio from San Antonio, Texas. They're like, and you have a quick layover in Orlando, Florida. Like that is not on the way.
I like
at
the
all.
automated voice there. Orlando, Florida.
That's how they always talk at airports, except the Detroit airport at 4 a.m. I still sometimes lay in bed and I think about that. Like when I wake up at 3 a.m., I'm like, well, at least I'm not in the Detroit airport because it was like every 6 minutes, the mayor of Detroit would come over the loudspeakers with the volume turned up to 700.
Thank you for visiting our great city.
Ooh,
welcome to Detroit.
Come back.
It was obnoxious when you're trying to sleep at the airport. They don't turn any of the lights off and they don't turn the volume down on their PA intercom system announcements. They're just screaming at me for 6 hours.
It's just the speaker screaming at Simon and I for
and they manage every seat in the entire airport has a armrest bolted between them.
Yeah,
so you can't possibly lie down. They don't want you to be comfortable at all, dude. That is 100% on purpose.
That's how it is.
You either have to lay on the floor, you have to commandeer one of the breastfeeding stations, which is immoral, or you have to sit in a chair. Those are your three options.
I actually found one. I found one where one of the armrests was broken off, dude, and I was able to sleep there. And too,
but it was still not very long. It was only like 4.5 feet. So Coop's
exactly. on the way home from the expo, I was pretty hungover, and people were looking at me like jealous. They were like, "Wow, look at this kid, dude."
He's sleeping.
I was the king. I was the king that day.
King of the castle. What you mentioned though, Richard Sherman was going on about too the coverage on the last play. Dude couldn't believe it. He goes, if you were playing against practice squad guys and it was like end of the game drill, they just had to score a touchdown and you lined up in that kind of coverage, they would be yelling, "What are you doing? You're setting us up for failure." Like telling us to get in that type of coverage in that game situation. Just try to stop a touchdown. What are you doing in press right there? Doesn't make any sense. Baker mentioned it. Richard Sherman mentioned it. Ryan Fitzpatrick mentioned it. Like just over and over and over again. They could not believe that decision-making at the end of the game. It was truly a full-on meltdown by the Raiders. And then who was it? Was it Tillery who knocked the ball out of Baker's hands with 13 seconds left on 2nd and 18 right in front of a referee? Dead ball, knock it out of his hands. Like, what the hell do you think's going to happen, man?
Shouldn't be surprised by that.
Like, what the hell do you think's going to happen? You might have just thrown, like, if the Raiders win that game, 4-game winning streak, we're talking about them as a potential dark horse playoff team, right? Mm-hmm. So that guy, by doing that, potentially just threw away the Raiders' entire season. Like, don't get me wrong. He's not the sole one to blame. Like, there is so much blame to go around on the coaching staff there. But, dude, keep your cool in a moment like that. There's 13 seconds left. Don't be a jackass.
And the Raiders needed this one bad because, you know, they have a winnable games the next two versus the Patriots and the Steelers. But then they end the season with the 49ers and the Chiefs. So this is not a Chiefs cupcake schedule. They needed that win, and they need these next two wins bad because they have some rough ones to finish this out.
Yeah. Maria said, "Are you guys trying to make Tommy cry?"
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, we are.
That's what the show is designed for. That's why they pay us the big bucks.
Exactly.
I see Hoove over here. What's up, Hoove?
Who
wants to know, should I start Tucker in bed this weekend? You got me.
Good morning, Hoove.
Good morning, Hoove.
Coming in
good one.
Guys, the other big news I think coming out of yesterday was Desmond Ridder getting the start for the Atlanta Falcons, according to Ian Rappaport.
Yep, now that was Simon. That was one of your wishes.
It was one of my two wishes. One of my two wishes was for Desmond Ridder to get the start so we could see what they got. Thank you.
Oh,
now, Josh Jacobs needs to finish as the RB1 overall in PPR formats. And Coop, I thought you had me with your malicious wish yesterday there for a second when he went down with the hand injury.
That was
when Josh Jacobs
maliciousness.
All of a sudden, I was like, that malicious wish was just enough to hurt that pinky. But no, I'm excited about Desmond Ridder getting to start. Excited, not because I think he's going to light the world on fire, but excited because we get to see it. It was an exciting rookie prospect. Marcus Mariota wasn't the future here for the Falcons. So Let's see what this dude's got.
That's what they should do, right? That's what this team should do, is see what they got in Desmond Ridder before the end of the season. Their season's over. They're not, contending. We got Dio Ledbetter, probably the most well-known Atlanta Falcons beat reporter, coming on later in the show, and we're gonna ask him and get some insight on this Desmond Ridder situation.
Pretty sure if you have 2 wins, you're still contending in that division, though.
That's true.
Technically, the Bucs are 6-6. The Falcons are 5-8. So technically, they could win.
Technically, they're contending, but realistically, they're not contending. Yeah, the team isn't so good.
If they win that division, they're gonna get shellacked.
That'd be wild
in the first week of the playoffs.
Oh my god, I want that to happen now, just to see it. I just want the chaos.
Yeah, like if the Falcons win that division, would you rather have the bye week, or would you rather just get to play that tune-up game and not, you know what I mean, just like keep it rolling rather than have going stale? I might just want to play that game anyway. Be like, hey, let's do this walkthrough against the Falcons instead of a bye week.
Sorry, I was just sitting there thinking what the answer to that question should possibly be, because like in my heart of hearts, I know the teams take the bye week. Like just give us the bye week. We make it to the next round. But I get what you're saying, because that's always a narrative. The announcers say it every single time after wild card week, and they're talking about, no, they've had a week off at this point. They're probably feeling that extra rust that other team doesn't have, getting to play in the wild card weekend, and then they come out and get shellacked by the 1 seed. But so I'm
I like the use of shellacked today.
Yeah, let's use it at least 5 times today. That's 2.
Yeah, I'm about.
Well, that's 3 actually, because you just used it as well. So 2 more. I'll keep track.
You just shellacked me with that correction.
Ooh, that's 4. Don't force the last one. We'll see if we can get Dio to say it later.
Also, Tommy, we are not trying to team up on you. I see the accusations in the chat. Here's the deal. We are open opportunity to talk about any of the teams just sucking. It just so happens that 2 of the most embarrassing games of the entire season, the Raiders are on the losing end
team.
So I apologize. It may seem like a direct target to you and to all Raider fans out there, but it's your team doing the embarrassing things, and we're just having to talk about it.
They stink, Tommy.
We're just having to talk about it.
Speaking of more embarrassing things about the Raiders, did you guys see the stuff about John Gruden that came out yesterday?
I saw bits and pieces of it.
Yeah. So there's an investigation going on into Washington, into Bruce Allen and Dan Snyder about, just a million different things, but part of it, allegations. But one of the thing that keeps coming out is that John Gruden would apparently email these guys all the time, and they just keep leaking his emails, right? And a lot of it's just like embarrassing stuff, but we keep getting little snippets of things he said. Like he said, Raiders suck about his own team to another owner in an email. He also,
while he was the head coach,
he's like, yeah, Raiders suck about his own team to the committee. I have no idea.
This sounds like a guy who didn't know about email, and then someone taught him about it, and so he was like, "Oh shit, I can talk to people all the time. Like I don't have to call him on the phone. I can just tell him what I'm thinking."
It's just gone as soon as I hit send. It disappears.
It's so funny because like when he was an announcer, he would always say that every time he'd be like, I talked to Bruce Gradkowski last night. Like every time he brought somebody up, he'd be like, I talked to so-and-so, as if he was making like 7 hours worth of phone calls the night before. So I can imagine that he would be hooked on sending emails too, right? He's like just chatting away. AOL.
AOL.
The other thing,
Gruden 54.
The other thing I saw leaked is in an email, for some reason, he decided to say Carson Palmer is another USC and then called him a synonym for cat.
John Gruden.
Wussy with a P is what he called him, which is also hilarious, I will say.
It's coming out that these were leaked as on purpose, right? To try to get attention over to other coaches, managers, GMs, owners in the league, right? Is that what they're determining here? Yeah,
there's a lot of theories on why this stuff's getting leaked. Some people are saying that they're doing it as a distraction to distract from the seriousness of it. You know what I mean? Just kind of use John Gruden as they're throwing him under the bus with all these things. Oh, look what John Gruden said in the email. So it distracts from the fact that Dan Snyder would use the cheerleaders as like prostitutes. So there's a rumor about the league doing that, which I kind of buy part of that. You know, the last thing you want is them talking about the real meat and potatoes of what's going on here, which is pretty bad, you know?
Yeah, very bad. Significantly worse than the emails that got.
Right.
John,
We're talking about these
everyone's-
funny.
you know what?
We're talking about the funny emails instead of what's actually going on. So it's kind of working on us.
Yeah,
Not that hard to trick though.
No, I think Dan Snyder's in the if
Pretty
I'm going
stupid.
down, I'm trying to take
Pretty
others down
stupid.
with me phase of his career.
We are
It's like-
all in our mom's basement, so I mean, how smart can we be?
Yeah, that goddamn. I can't believe that dude called me a neckbeard.
That's the thing that got you.
I was looking in the mirror this morning and I was like, yeah.
You're not a neckbeard. You're not a neckbeard.
Instead of wearing like a frumpy sweatshirt, I'm wearing like a nice jacket. I'm like, yeah, right, dude. Come on. Come get it. Come on the YouTube chat, bro.
We've been
got a
piling
neckbeard.
on Tommy all morning, and I think it's only fair that we share some of that. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but prior to the shocking loss to the Giants in the Super Bowl, the Patriots filed trademarks for quote the perfect season and quote 19-0 in the sports and entertainment category. Those trademarks expire next season.
Oh no!
Ouch!
Ouchie! Mau! Yeah, I mean the thing is, 19-0. It's not going to be like you would never use it anymore because they added a game, right? So
Unless
now
you win in the wild card round and then the playoffs get canceled.
how are you going to go undefeated and play in the wild card round, Simon?
Every team goes undefeated.
What's the tiebreaker? What's the tiebreaker if half the teams go undefeated and half the teams
Peach
lose every game?
size.
Well then,
They
this is
gotta
gonna be
do
the
I don't. They have to do one of those like wheelbarrow contests across, all the way down the field and back, where you hold
Wheelbarrow race
someone's
with-
feet.
But the names are randomly
What-
drawn
what-
for who's the wheelbarrow and who's the person.
Yeah.
carrying them.
What
They
are
don't
the-
get- they
So
don't
you
get
got like
picked ahead of
Baker
time.
holding like a lineman.
Aaron
Baker-
Donald,
Baker
with
holding
Baker
Aaron
Mayfield
Donald.
as the person behind.
Mac
Can
Jones.
you imagine
holding
Aaron Donald?
Trent Brown. What two
Imagine-
players?
I'm imagining Aaron Donald now just Baker Mayfield just holding onto his ankles as he is like flying in the air behind him, flapping up and down
Like
on
a-
the field.
Like a flag.
Exactly as Aaron Donald just like Komodo dragons his ass all the way down the field.
What
Oh my
two
God.
players from your team would you pick to do if you could pick any two to do the wheelbarrow race? What two players?
Like,
would you
like I'm not involved. It's
Currently
just them
healthy.
two.
It's just them two. Yeah, you had to. This is a very serious thing to decide a playoff bye. You had to, and they came to you and said you have to pick the two players to do the wheelbarrow race to make this decision. What two guys are you going with?
Miles
I'll go with-
Garrett is holding Nick Chubb's legs, and Miles Garrett is the wheelbarrow holder, and Nick Chubb is running down that field.
Ooh, I like that.
That's what I got.
I go Lamar Jackson. He'd be the one driving, the one who's like in the back.
Yeah,
And then he's got to be holding up. It's got to be Mark Andrews because they're the best duo.
yeah. Mark Andrews is pretty big though. I feel like you want somebody smaller on the front half of that.
Or you need
I-
someone really big on the back half, like massive size team.
Yeah, but they got to be fast too, though, because you don't want somebody that's slow. I would go with Ramondre Stevenson would be driving, and he would be holding the legs of
Ramondre Stevenson.
Devin McCourty. Yeah, it's just two Ramondres. We get another one.
Just him. It's just him like forming us like a
Actually,
wheel with his
Matthew.
body.
It would be Matthew Slater. I feel like Matthew Slater would be good at that. He's good at weird stuff. Like he just crushes
Matt Patricia.
special teams in the coin tosses. Yeah, if it had to be your coaches, the Patriots would come in dead last. Patricia
Bill
and
Bel-
Belichick.
Bill Belichick in a wheelbarrow race sounds like heaven.
Dude, the odds of getting Bill Belichick into a wheelbarrow race, 0.0.
They ask him every single cookout, and he's like, "Nope."
He
You don't
loses.
think he's playing?
Loses,
You don't
he'd be
think
so
he's playing
pissed.
out?
The press conference after he loses, dude, he'd be like, "We're on
Yeah.
to Cornwall."
We're on to Cornell.
I feel like most head coaches would like if they had to participate would be the holder. Like they're like, I'm not doing the wheelbarrow part. I'll be the holder. But Mike McDaniel, I see like laying on the ground before it's even been determined who the
Someone
person
pick me
holding
up.
the legs are
Someone
going to be,
pick
and
me
just
up.
start like looking around, like who's doing this with me? Like
Tua.
waiting for like, just wait, like Jeff, come grab my legs. Just waiting for someone to come grab his legs to play.
I could
Jeff
see,
rolls his eyes as he walks over.
I could see Tomlin absolutely barking at whoever he's doing it with. Just so mad.
I'm effing working here as they try to celebrate with him.
Actually, dude, Belichick and Patricia might be able to beat Andy Reid and whoever he's teamed up with over there. I can't picture Andy Reid being very good at that one.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. Craig and you're saying an episode of FYF brackets decides playoff seeding. Then, if all the teams are tied, that would be chaotic. If we just got to put them through a bracket to determine the seeding.
You can imagine these coaches watching. They're like, dude, that guy in the A's hat hasn't seen half the movies. How is this deciding?
Tim comes on to do it, and he just starts connecting movies and TV shows and random thought processes to each team. And they're like, what? Like, I just got sent to the wild card round because this guy doesn't like Dairy Queen. Like, what the hell? I don't know what's going on. Hoove in here. What's up, Hoove? Welcome in. He said technically 2 teams from a division could win the remaining of their games and tie both of the games played during the season versus that division rival. They would go into the wild card undefeated. They couldn't be 19-0, but they'd be 17-0-2. It's a good point, Hoove. I didn't even think about that. That is a good point.
Man.
2 teams could win every game and then tie against each other.
But then they're not going to trademark 19-0 because they didn't go 19-0. They went 17-0-2.
Well, then they'll
trademark that. That would be
17-0-2
pretty sweet.
on a t-shirt.
Sweet trademark.
Pretty tight. I'd get a shirt. If the Patriots went 17-0-2, I would 100% have a 17-0-2 shirt.
And then just have underneath it like ties ain't losses, baby, or something like that.
Never lost. Never lost.
17-0-2.
Just undefeated, then in parentheses, still counts.
Trust us.
Yeah.
No asterisk needed. Who's saying 17-0-2 greater than 19-0?
I just want a team to go undefeated just so Mercury Morris will shut the hell up, dude. I'm tired of seeing Mercury Morris every time, popping champagne every time that you guys know what I'm talking about with the Dolphins. So the Dolphins were the last team to go undefeated, and a bunch of those dudes get together every time the last undefeated team loses, they get together and pop champagne and do a little social media thing. So when the Eagles lost the last game, because the Eagles were the last undefeated team, when they lost, freaking there's Mercury Morris, a legitimate crackhead, popping champagne, being like, "Oh, we're the only undefeated team." Like, dude, enough.
I get it though. It's a pretty big deal, right?
No,
it's a pretty big deal that they were the only undefeated team. It'll happen one day.
If it was you'd do it, wouldn't you?
No question, dude. And I would be equally obnoxious, if not more so.
Equally agnostic.
I would be so agnostic. I'd be like, I am God. There is no. There's only one God.
That's what agnostic.
It's Mercury Morris.
Mercury Morris.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Scott Fish, the very own Scott Fish, he just tweeted out. People are going to have strong opinions about these new Vikings helmets. Have you guys seen the Vikings white helmets?
No.
I think he's got it pulled. Look at these bad boys.
What is that? Is that pink or is it just light on it?
I think it's just light. I think they're white helmets. Yeah, it's a white out. What are your thoughts?
I need to see it closer up.
I'm a sucker for a white helmet. Like, I am a sucker for an all-white helmet with a nice design on it. I'm in. I want to see it on the field now. I want to see it with the rest of the uniform. And I like that they didn't go full matte. Some helmets, like, don't get me wrong. Generally, I prefer matte over non-matte. But I think some teams overdo the use of matte or use it in situations where it's unnecessary. Give me some of that gloss on these white helmets. Let them shine on the field, baby. I'm all about it.
I respect it.
I kind of like it, dude. I need to see it with the uniform, though, of course. I think that's the tiebreaker. That's how I can really decide. What do you think? Are you in, Jail?
I'm in, man. I'm always for the alternate jerseys. I like a little switcheroo, a little variety in your life.
You like a little razzle dazzle, a little pizzazz.
Razzle dazzle,
Yeah.
Bengals did it earlier, so naturally the Vikings have to, because the Bengals are getting all that attention.
You gotta sneak in there. You gotta steal some of their luster. I like that.
Exactly.
You just bring up those Bengals uniforms all willy-nilly, Jay, and I'm going to be thinking about them all day. It takes like a week to get them out of my mind.
I know.
God, I'm just going to dive in today all day. I'm not watching the World Cup. I'm just going on my TV. I'm just going to have replays of the games with them in their white uniforms.
It's just a static picture of the helmet. You walk around, Simon's just like pretending to be working, but it's just a one picture of it.
It's just like me pressing random keys, and there's just Joe Burrow's helmet. Not Joe Burrow. Just the helmet.
Just his helmet.
Do you think the Bengals have the best white uniforms, the best whiteouts?
Yeah.
I kind of like the Saints.
I respect
Saints
that.
are cool.
They're
But
like
that's not. That's just a normal. Isn't that just their normal one?
no. They have like their color rush ones are like the it looks like the white Power Ranger. Dope.
I still prefer the Bengals.
It's dope
I'm a
as
sucker
heck.
for some tiger stripes.
Yeah.
Like I like
gotta
their
do-
normal uniforms. Then their white uniforms just take it up a notch.
What team has the
Got to
worst
do a
uniforms?
uniform bracket at some point.
What team has the worst uniforms, and why is it the Dolphins?
It's the
Shut
Seahawks.
up. Shut up. The Dolphins have a uniform of pure joy out there on the football field.
It's objectively one of the best.
That is insane. That is absolutely insane that you would even like fathom to bring them up as the worst uniform. What's next? The Raiders? You're gonna say the Raiders have bad uniforms?
Oh, Raiders is dope, dude. How dare you? How dare
Dolphins
you?
and Raiders are like top tier. I love the Raiders.
Dude, the Raiders are sick. It's black and
The
gold.
Raiders is a Simon.
Dolphins-
Is a Simon one.
Dolphins.
Raiders are my
jerseys.
number one uniform in the NFL, besides the Bengals whiteout. But like just normal
It
uniforms,
makes sense.
give me the Raiders.
Checks out.
The best uniforms are the Patriots red with the white helmets. Pretty simple. Everyone does that. Pretty clean. You guys know. You guys know those. But maybe not best. But you guys know those are sick. Like let's
they
not.
are pretty sick.
No, that's sweet.
Let's,
Yeah, for sure.
let's not mess around. All right, Dolphins was okay. I mean, their kind of colors are kind of for girls, but their logo.
What's wrong
looks
with
like,
that?
Logo looks like a botched SeaWorld logo, but yeah, Dolphins are cool.
I love the playfulness of the Dolphins logo. I think some
Dolphins
teams
have
take
some of
themselves a
the
little
best,
too
yeah.
seriously, and it's fun to have a playful logo down there. You can still be a serious team and be a bit more playful.
You're so edgy. Oh, Raiders all black and silver. We're scary.
I've asked.
We're so intimidating. You just got wrecked by a freaking dolphin, bro. That's way more intimidating.
I've asked Jordan Loop. Jordan Loop, who is he's a big design guy, right? He designs Scott Fishbowl. He's on the Avi team for Scott Fishbowl, dude. He's very sensible when it comes to that stuff. He says that in his opinion, the worst uniforms, and not just the regular ones, but basically their whole set of them, is the Arizona Cardinals.
I can see that.
He says
not
the Cardinals are just not. He says it doesn't do anything for him. Loop, we got to get him out here to get his rankings. But yeah, he says the Cardinals are not aesthetically pleasing in his opinion.
They're fine.
They're fine. Exactly. I don't know if they really are, dude.
The worst uniforms are the Rams ones with the gradient yellow to white number, because it's not like a nice, smooth,
No, it's
appealing gradient. It's like word art from 1997.
You don't put
Word.
gradient on letters like that,
God.
unless you want to look like you're using word art.
Like I can
Microsoft.
I can picture the text like swirling across the top of my page as I write a book report in the third grade and think I'm hot shit using word art, and that's what it looks like. The Rams, like, I just can't believe they got through all the different levels of like approval, and everyone was like, "Yeah, it's very cool, guys. Really cool gradient. Looks fantastic on those numbers." It's awful.
Yeah, I don't like those. I didn't like the Jaguars helmets when they were two-toned either. Like I don't like that.
I like that they went matte because most NFL teams don't go matte, but I didn't like that the two-tone one was not fantastic.
Yeah, the matte. Although I do like the matte too. Yeah, the early '90s Patriots had some real bad jerseys, like awful. The ones with the giant Elvis heads that were like the entire shoulder are. I have one of those. Here.
Coop, you should get that as a tattoo. You should just get the giant Elvis head from that jersey tattooed on your shoulder in the position that it goes.
Why is this so big? This isn't even the biggest one, dude. Some of the other ones were like ridiculous. Dude.
Jail would probably, if I designed a jersey, that's probably how big I would make the logo. I have a bad habit of whenever I put t-shirt designs together, I see space and I'm like, must fill space. I think
it's a genetic thing.
All right. Hoove brings up in the chat. These conversations always devolve down to this one jersey, the most divisive jersey of all time. The Buccaneers creamsicle jersey, because people either love it or they hate it. They love it or they hate it.
It comes up a lot on our show.
Love.
We've talked about this, haven't we? I think
we have.
Did you? I know Simon likes it. JL, do you like that jersey?
Yeah, I think they're fine.
Stop saying jerseys are fine. You have to have a strong opinion, one way or the other.
I don't like. It's not how design works.
They're fine.
Ja.
I will say the logo with
don't talk to me, Ja.
On my back, Ja. The logo with the Buccaneer with the knife in his mouth is sick. I will say that.
It is
It's very sweet.
Very piratey.
Maybe the best one, dude.
I think I've told my mom was in Tampa Bay the week before the Super Bowl. visiting like a family friend, and she was down there, and she texted me, and like we're talking, and she's talking about how much she loves the Buccaneers now. She goes, because everyone here just dresses like a pirate. She goes, there's pirates everywhere. It's so much fun. She just couldn't get over the pirate theming. And I was like, Mom, I think there were more pirates than normal because you were there the weekend before the Super Bowl and the Bucs are playing in it in their own hometown. But in her mind, Tampa, pirates. Like they are all about the pirates.
Dude, that's what people think Salem, Massachusetts is like. They like think you show up there and there's just gonna be like witches everywhere. It's like, yeah, you go there. My buddy lives there. It's a normal town. He's a witch. Well, he's a witch, yeah. But I mean, it's like they're not everywhere. There's a few.
Wow.
But when you go there on Halloween, it is ridiculous. But most of the year, it's just a normal place. That's
Albert in the chat earlier said, "Did you guys see Derrick Brown in the big hat?" I did not. Did you guys see that?
I saw it in the big hat. He said it was a gift, if I remember correctly. I forget who gave it to him, but he rocked it for an entire show, if I'm not mistaken. D-Bro.
Rocking that Derrick Brown, nice.
Yeah.
I love D-Bro. Good dude.
Which big hat did he have? What team? Or was it like
so if you buy them from, it's actually interesting. If you buy them from Noggin Head, they cannot put any licensed logos on there. So like you see some of them in the advertisements on their site, but they can't actually do that. So the hats you buy from them are very generic. They'll say like Texas or like baseball, or you can get a blank one. And then like the one that Brian Robinson was wearing was customized by a friend, not by Noggin Head. And now they're looking into it because the NFL's pretty tight about the use of their logos and trademarks on things that don't have the right to do it. And so there's like investigations into what like if he was wearing that hat properly, if he was allowed to wear that hat. No fun league.
Sure.
No fun league, but they also should have seen that one coming.
Yeah. But I now I want to get one just like with what's the most generic word I could put on there? Like sports.
Man.
Fan.
Shellac.
Fan.
I'm just gonna get one with number 1 on the front.
You guys didn't hear what I said. I said shellac.
Shellac.
That's 5. Cap. Move tube with a cap or a hat. You just have a giant hat that says hat on it.
Your hat.
That's nice, dude.
To match your calf.
Number 1 fan. That just made me number 1 fan. Number like a sports dad or something like that, dude.
Dustin in the chat said, "Good morning, fellas. Good morning, Dustin. Welcome in, my friend."
Dustin, what up, dog? Dustin, dog.
Greg's got it in here. We need Grimace Gang huge hats. We probably can't put the Grimace himself on there, but we might be able to put like a GG on there. Everyone think we're telling them good game, but we know.
We'll put the Grimace emoji on there. The Space Invaders emoji that we've commandeered for Grimace. Put that on there.
You know what? I'm really glad we chose. There were 2 options that we could have gone for Grimace. Like when Craig was deciding who's going to be Grimace, there were 2 emojis that he could have used.
Yeah.
The Space Invaders alien or the penis eggplant. Those were the 2 different ones that could have become Grimace. And I think either one would have been just as like applicable. Know what I mean? Grimace is kind of shaped like that eggplant. Like it's not far off. Thank you for choosing the Space Invader.
One of the Grimace Gang's biggest regret. One of the Grimace Gang's biggest regrets.
Eggplant.
Yeah, we should have picked the eggplant. There's Joey. Yeah, get those Grimace Gangs up in the chat and smash that fun button. Let's go. This is the FYF Morning Show.
That's Grimace on Thursdays. On every other day of the week, he's the Space Invader. But on Thursdays, he turns into the eggplant.
Gets a little thirsty.
Also, I saw a comment in here earlier from Craig. What did it say? Oh, he said, I feel like a whole generation is oblivious to what cornhole used to mean when used in everyday conversation. So we were bringing up the game cornhole earlier. Right. Craig, probably. It's not lost on me. If you put hole after any word, I'm probably going to assume the funny definition first and then look into what it actually means. So every time someone has cornhole, I giggle a little bit inside before talking about the actual sport. Yeah. It's a very serious sport.
Should be called the safe play is just call it bags because everyone knows what you're talking about, but that's less fun.
I would have no idea if someone said you want to play bags. I would have zero idea what they're talking about.
See, up here where I live, it's like people use all the terms. They also use there's another term that I can't think of.
Beanie Weenies is apparently a possible name for cornhole.
No, it's not.
The Cornholios.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Corn cobs.
Yeah.
Corntopia.
I'll tell you, I got in trouble in preschool because I was running around the playground going, I am Cornholio.
I
And
realized
then
I was just picking team names from the school list.
my teachers had to have a talk with my parents about letting their 4-year-old watch Beavis and Butthead. Said maybe not appropriate. He's repeating lines at school.
Perhaps not.
It's repeating lines.
The great Cornholio. Sack toss.
Not much better. In fact, probably worse.
Get it in.
Get it
I think
in.
could be
Get it in. I think that describes many games.
Shoot for the hole, and if you miss, you'll land among the board.
Sack chuck.
That's a good name. That's a good name.
You guys want to play some shoot for the hole, and if you miss, you'll land among the board?
Can we get the domain for that?
.com. No, .ca. It's a Canadian website. Without
the
a
other
doubt.
.com was taken.
We're forming the Canada League. Whenever all sports were canceled, you guys remember like the 2 weeks where there just weren't sports?
Oh yeah.
Whenever the pandemic hit,
Yeah.
one of the first sports to come back was professional cornhole. And so like on ESPN, ESPN2, they were playing cornhole tournaments just like on television. And I remember my girlfriend and I, like, we were looking at what was, and we were like, no way. And we watched it, and we watched it for like 2 hours. Like, we could not take our eyes off the professional cornhole players. It was enthralling. Sponsored by like baked beans or something. Like, I think it was just sponsored by like beans in general.
I feel like they just make it every time, right? Like they have to. And then you're basically just like a war of attrition to whoever misses first.
It was the middle of a pandemic, so they're like, what's a game that we could bring back where the players touch the same thing as many times as possible? And they were like, oh, let's do this game, right? Like, you're just throwing bags back and forth, dude. Like, if one person has COVID, everybody has it, right?
Yo, my girlfriend watches Love Island. This is related. Watches Love Island. And I was sitting on the couch working while she had it on the TV. And I look up because I start hearing them describe this game. And my immediate thought is, we just had a pandemic. And the game that they're about to play, they're sitting down across from each other and they're served like a full meal. The guy has to put the food in his mouth, transfer it to the girl from mouth to mouth, and then she has to spit it in a bucket on the other side, and whoever gets the most food wins. And they have like French fries covered in ketchup. They had a milkshake. I was like I was like gagging watching this. Like, nope, I'd sit out. I'd say, sorry, I'm not spitting a milkshake into somebody else's mouth. Something that I've known for 4 days.
That show sounds real bad.
Who would do that? I guess them. I guess every single person on that show.
Who would watch that?
It sucks you in. You don't stop watching. That you got to be careful with that, because like the whole time you're like, this is awful. This is so bad. 6 episodes later.
That's literally me, like, watching the shows my wife watches out of the corner of my eye. Like, I'm like on my iPad. I'm like, I'm not watching this. And then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, what is she doing?
Did she really just say that?
I'm just like, doing I'm like, she should be with Pete. What is happening?
That's me exactly the same, Coop. Every single time.
Just you're like, this is stupid, but you're so invested.
Maria said just beans.
Just beans.
Calling cornhole beans.
Beans.
You guys want to play some beans?
Yeah. We could throw some bean bags around. Guys, coming up, we've got some hypothetically prepared for you. We're going to play poll perception with our friend Vinnie. Make sure we're previewing some of these games for you as well. And then D. Orlando Ledbetter of the Atlanta Falcons is coming on today as well. We got to talk about Desmond Ridder, Kyle Pitts. A lot to talk about with D.O. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Green Screens Media back at it again with your BSN timeout, and today recapping all of the action from this year's World Cup. With me today, our purveyor of the pitch, Mr. Jay Heinrich. Jay, let's start with the U.S. men's national team. It was our first time making it past group play since 2010. Unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of a 3-1 result against the Netherlands, but I really liked our team's ability to create chances in this game. It feels like there are some things that we can build off here. What did you see from the U.S. side that gives you the most cause for hope for 2026 and beyond?
It's obvious that Tyler Adams is the future of the U.S. men's program. He covered more ground than any other player in the tournament before the U.S. were knocked out by the Netherlands. He's the captain of this team. He'll wear the captain's armband, and he's going to play that role of Captain America for the U.S. heading into the 2026 World Cup. Let's look ahead to the round of 8, headlined, in my opinion, by England versus France. In the round of 16, Portugal found their stroke. Brazil were clinical. England ended up with a great result after a shaky start. What bet do you find the most enticing in the round of 8?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Portugal minus 150 to win against Morocco. I mean, it feels like they should probably be a bigger favorite here. I think a lot of that has to do with the underdog story of the Moroccan side. I mean, they're coming off of their World Cup final in a win against Spain. They're really walking into a letdown spot. And Portugal feels like they're an entirely new squad after moving Ronaldo from the starting lineup, replaced him with Ramos, and he rewarded that decision with a hat trick immediately. Look, Morocco is going to try to make it difficult for Portugal to advance and press forward, but ultimately I think they're going to find a pretty similar result as the Swiss did.
Yeah, betting matchup that I really like. It just feels like a draw coming between England and France. It's the likeliest of the 4 to go all the way to penalties for me. It just feels like a 2-2 type of game with all the talent that's going to be out there on the pitch. If I had to pick a side, I might lean France. But these two countries are going to battle it out, and it's going to be an awesome, exciting match all the way to the finish.
Love it when these come down to PKs. I want to look at the futures market from the 8 remaining teams. Is there a price out there that's catching your eye?
It's a team that I picked to win it all from the start. It's Argentina. Right now they're sitting at plus 550. They've overcome that opening match loss to Saudi Arabia. They've been excellent since then. They're their most dangerous when Messi scoring for obvious reasons. Get Alvarez going too. This Argentine squad's going to find their way to the end of this tournament and lift that trophy.
Those plus 550 odds. That will do it for your BSN timeout. Make sure you stay locked here on the Better Sports Network and check out coverage.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Perfect reintroduction, guys. We are here answering your questions. So if you guys have any questions for us, make sure you throw them in the chat. We are more than happy to answer any and all of them for you. I did want to bring up one question for you guys there from one of my teams. I need some help. So,
Guillotine?
What'd you say?
Guillotine League?
Guillotine League. The stakes are getting high right now. The stakes are getting high. I started Josh Jacobs yesterday, so worked out pretty well. Wasn't a 40-point game, but he got me 19.9. My question is, it's that same wide receiver question, but this time I'm between Brandon Ayuk and Juju Smith-Schuster. It's a tougher matchup for Juju, but he's got Patrick Mahomes throwing him the ball. They're expected to win. And my other thing here, usually I wouldn't care as much, but because there are only 5 teams left, it's a lot about upside. Right now in my starting lineup, I've got Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk, 3 49ers, right? And normally in a normal league, especially when this league started, when it was a 18-team league, that didn't matter at all, right? Like upside didn't matter so much. But now the bottom team is still a very good team. And I'm worried about starting 3 players from the same team in a guillotine league, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, with Brock Purdy under center.
Yeah, I think it's I don't blame you, Simon. I don't blame you for being concerned there. I think it does. I feel like starting 2 players on the same team is not that big of a deal. Starting 3 players on the same team starts to get into the territory where you're probably limiting your upside. But if they're the best options for you, they give you the best chance to succeed. I'm not necessarily against it, but I totally understand your concern.
Now, the thing is, if this were a game like, let's say, Miami versus the Chargers, and the over-under was 52.5 and it was on Sunday night, then I'm like, yeah, give me as many guys from that game as I can get. This game that you're talking about with Brandon Ayuk, the over-under is 37.5. Not only is it one of the lowest this week, it's one of the lowest of the entire season. So that's not really a game you want to be stacking up, my boy. I think I'm going to go Juju.
Yeah.
So what were your options again? Because you're starting CMC. That's locked in.
I'm starting CMC.
I think this is Juju versus Ayuk, right?
Yeah, Juju versus Ayuk. My other tight end is David Njoku, but we aren't even sure if he's healthy and playing. I can't start him over Kittle, right? Like I just can't do that right now.
You can't do it because we have an example earlier this year already of them bringing him back slowly and having him play like they had Harrison Bryant played 40 snaps. He played 19 the last time he came back from injury. So that scares me. Some teams just throw you right in the fire. Some teams bring you back slowly. I don't know. It scares me.
Yeah, I'm going Juju as well here, Simon.
Juju over Brandon Ayuk. That's where I'm leaning.
Yeah.
But man, like Brandon Ayuk in a vacuum, I generally prefer. And I hate benching him after we got the quote. You know, I love a good quote and I love a good narrative. Brock Purdy coming out, talking to Brandon Ayuk on the sideline and saying, I'm going to feed you. Right? Like that's what's giving me pause. Every time I go to make the switch to put Juju in, I hear Brock Purdy in my head saying to Brandon Ayuk, I'm going to feed you. I'm going to feed you. The more I say it now, the weirder it sounds. Like taking that line and just repeating it over and over again doesn't sound like football. It sounds like
weird,
like he's sitting there and he's
going to feed you.
It's like putting French fries in his mouth. I'm gonna feed you. I'm going to feed you.
Open up. Here comes the plane.
Definitely start Juju. Now you have to start Juju.
now I'm firmly.
Now you don't want that, dude. Heard it.
Brandon Ayuk's going to be so well fed heading into that game. He's going to be full, healthy boy getting in there. No, I think you guys are right. I think it's Juju for me as well. Craig in here said, is the cute guy with the hoodie and the weird looking dog from yesterday going to be on today?
No.
I think he's talking about Joey and E.T.
Oh. The weird looking dog.
A weird looking dog. One of his many E.T. dolls.
We might see some Joey today. We might see some Joey a little bit later on the show today. And Joey earlier, going back to our conversation, said, y'all trying to tell me you never baby bird it with your old lady? Absolutely not. That is like the only thing that I would like less that I can think of is like touching raw chicken together with my old lady. Like that would be grosser than baby bird and food around. But those are like, it's like top two things I wouldn't want to do. That's disgusting.
I can safely say that I've never baby birded with anyone.
My old lady.
With my old lady or anyone. Yeah. Zero of that going on.
Like I'll eat a bug, but I'm not letting someone spit food in my mouth. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I'm anti-gross. I'll do some stuff for like the shock value of it. I'll pick up a moth and eat it just to get a reaction. But I'm not gonna let someone spit food in my mouth.
I think my moth eating days are over.
You had moth eating days?
I'm sure I did, but I don't know, Simon. I think I'm on the other side of that one. I think I'll eat a bug. I think I'll go with not gonna eat any bugs. No bugs for me.
Not even like a bug that's been like purposely prepared to eat.
I think if I was at like a Michelin star restaurant and somebody was like, you have to eat the bugs because they're amazing, then I would consider it. But that's about it.
Okay, that's fair. But like, let's say you were at a tequila bar and they brought you some crickets. Would you eat said salted crunchy crickets like as a little appetizer?
How much tequila have I had?
You've had full. It was a tasting flight. So you've had 5 shots of tequila, 5 different kinds of tequila. So pretty good amount.
Oh yeah, then I'm definitely. Me and the boys are definitely eating bugs. For sure. No question, dude. No question.
I'll eat.
There's a bug eating 5 shots of tequila, dude. There's a bug eating contest going down. We're gonna be like, keep them coming. Keep them coming, dude.
You got cricket teeth, just like or cricket legs, like stuck in your. More crickets.
More tequila.
JL's like, he's like, I'm vegetarian and I'm using that to say why I'll never eat bugs. That's the reason
my
why
nice
I'll never
cop out for most situations.
Keith said the key with Coop is not to ask if he wants, it's to dare him.
Exactly. You won't. Yeah, definitely don't ask me to, but say you won't. Or usually one good. Come on, that works on me. I'm very susceptible to peer pressure.
Come on.
Come on, dude. Undefeated against me. A good come on.
Is that John Mulaney who has the bit about like one come on and he'll do just about anything? I forget. There's a stand-up comedian that has a bit about just one come on and I'll just steal a bit.
Did I steal a bit?
So unoriginal.
But I'm the same. I'm the same boat though. You can get me with that. You can get me with that stuff.
Dustin, you're saying crickets taste like sunflower seeds. They're just salty. The weirdest part is like that you can tell it's a cricket when you bite into it. Like the taste is fine.
Why are you eating crickets, dude?
Me?
Yeah, both of you guys.
I ate them in Mexico.
Entomology class.
And Dustin, you ate them too?
I don't
I
think
also
you can
had
answer from
flying.
there.
I also had flying ants, and then sometimes they grind the flying ants up into a powder and use it as like a smoky seasoning. Pretty good.
Oof.
Pretty good. Sorry, Jay, I interrupted you to talk about flying ants.
It's okay. I was just going to talk about football. It's not important.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Craig in here with more about the bugs. Says FYF bug eating contest at the Expo in 2023. Yeah, we are going to sponsor a bug eating contest at the Expo. I'll
We
bring
have
the
absolutely no idea how to do marketing. that is the best we can come up with.
Joey Wright. I ate a cricket at Disney World once. Little effer wouldn't stop singing.
Suck it, Jiminy.
Oh no.
Jiminy
Suck it,
crickets.
Jiminy.
Cheese in a bucket. And Dustin coming in with some truth. Crickets are the most eco-friendly protein source in the world. Yeah, there's been a big push by environmentalists to normalize eating bugs, to say like stop making it a taboo subject because it's a great source of protein and it's environmentally friendly.
I feel with Maria here making the vomit
I was
eat
gonna say,
emoji face.
You're gonna make a lot of people turn Republican with that kind of chatter. Like,
Hey, I hate when that
Democrats are
happens.
taking our straws and want us to eat crickets.
they want to see bugs, dude. Yeah. Like, yeah.
They want to turn your burger into a bug burger.
All of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, dude, coal's not so bad, dude. Bring back the coal mines.
Bring back coal mines. Coming back,
Oh.
baby.
That's awesome. Sorry, Joe, you had something about football to say?
Yes. So Mike Williams, he got upgraded to a full participant yesterday in practice. So I wanted to ask you guys, what are we doing with the Chargers situation here? These offensive weapons on the Chargers. Josh Palmer, we got Everett, Mike Williams, all these guys. Are you benching them all, or are you starting Mike Williams now that he's back? It's his first game back.
Yes. Sorry, Mike Williams. The thing is, I'm going to bench Josh Palmer. There are going to be places where you start Gerald Everett. Now, I wish Gerald Everett was playing like the 49ers, because then I could just be like, don't start Gerald Everett, right? But he's playing Miami, which is a bottom 5 team versus the tight end, and the over-unders 52.5 for that game. So it's like, I think Gerald Everett's still viable this week, but if Gerald Everett is my only tight end, I consider myself in need of another tight end.
What about you, Simon?
Josh Palmer's hitting the bench, and there's so many things in me based on just what we've seen from Mike Williams coming back from injury before that say, just wait a week. But with the upside that Mike Williams has in that offense, I can't do it. Like I can't do it. If he was a full participant, not even limited, I'm plugging him in and playing him. Like he should get another full practice in today. And I want that kind of guy in my lineup. Dude can be the number 1 wide receiver on any week he plays. I'm not benching him. So I think the rule with the Chargers is it's simple. Start your studs. You know what I mean? Start your studs. Start your Keenan Allen. Start your Mike Williams. Start your Justin Herbert. Start your Austin Ecklers. And outside of that, like it's break glass in case of emergency for the other players on that team, for the Gerald Everetts, for the Josh Palmers. Like those aren't players I'm trying to get in. But there are 6 teams on bye this week, so maybe you gotta, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Apocalypse Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Boogaloo. That was it. Yeah, so good. Electric Boogaloo.
Let's bring back some smart stuff from yesterday.
Let's get some Electric Boogaloo t-shirts. By Apocalypse 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Those should be the first t-shirts.
Beautiful. Joey said, Cole's not so bad. Andrew, silver medal, axe thrower, Cooper.
First of all,
Nobel Prize winning Andrew Cooper.
that axe game that we played, it wasn't even the real axe throwing game. It was like some virtual one at Dave & Buster's. So I want that scrubbed from my permanent record. That axe, second place in the axe game.
Because I don't know why that reminded me. Second place is what reminded me. So I do know why that reminded me. It's not a direct connection though, so bear with me. Yesterday I learned, and you guys may already know this, but up until the 70s, guys like Terry Bradshaw played in this game. The Super Bowl champion would play against an all-star team of college players. Did you guys know that?
What? No, dude.
I saw footage from some of the games, and the craziest part is the Super Bowl champions didn't even win every game. They lost like 9 of them. They were like 32, 9-2 or something like that. The team from Washington, formerly the Redskins, whenever they played in both of those games, they lost both of them. They're 0-2 in those games.
What the
They
hell?
didn't win. Like that would never happen. But there's like video of Terry Bradshaw just getting lit up by by some college kids running at them, college athletes. And don't get me wrong, it's the best kids from college, but that's absurd. That would so never happen today that when I heard about it, I was like, no way. This is something somebody just made up to try to trick me. And then I looked it up.
Gotta bring it back.
It's wild.
To the first, I'm looking at some of these scores. The first game they played, the final score was 0-0. And the second in 1934, 1935, the next year, the score was 5-0. So these games were electric.
They were electric, but that's wild. I don't think they would ever bring that back. That could never happen, but boy, do I want it.
Dude, college players nowadays won't even play in some of them won't even play in the national championship game because they're just declaring for the draft. You think they're going to play in some exhibition game against professional players? No chance.
No. The only like iteration of it I see could coming back, like if they were to ever want to do something like this, is have it be like a kind of like the Senior Bowl or something where it's like a showcase and it's NFL free agents on the other side of the ball, not like the Super Bowl champions. There was some guy talking about that as a possibility. Like they could get like the players who aren't on a team right now, the Will Fullers, the ones that are trying to like showcase themselves in the same way that the college athletes are trying to showcase themselves, and have those guys play against each other. But that's not quite the same stakes. Like you just won a Super Bowl and now they're making you play against some college kids, right? And they're like, see if you can beat them. Do your best. It'll be embarrassing if you don't. You got nothing to gain because you're the Super Bowl champions. You should win, but everything to lose if you lose this game.
I recognize some of the names of like the MVPs from these games, dude. Like Larry Zonka was the MVP one year. The last one they played, Ray Guy, the only punter in the Hall of Fame, was the MVP of the game. What a ridiculous thing. I can't believe I've never heard of that. That's insanity.
That's what I thought. I was like, how have I never heard that this was real? And Coop, what you said, like the names that were playing in these games, it's not like ancient history. You know what I mean? It's not like way in the early days. Like
70s.
There's guys that are on TV now as announcers out there that were playing in these games. Absurd.
Ridiculous.
That is wild.
It'd be cool if they could bring it back.
When was the last time they did that?
It was in the 70s. I forget the years.
1976 was the last one. Pittsburgh Steelers beat the College All-Stars 24-0.
Suck it, College All-Stars.
Ha. Losers.
Do you think the disparity between college and NFL was smaller then? Like, do you think there was less of a gap? Or do you think maybe that's just our perception of it now?
So in the beginning, that seemed to be the case, but in like before they stopped doing it, it looks like the professional team won like 20 straight years in a row.
Okay.
I think that's when they finally shut it down. It was like the first few years, it was like close, and the college team was winning every once in a while, but it looks like the last 20 or so years, they just got crushed.
And Tommy's saying that's like an Elder Scouts versus Boy Scouts Royal Rumble. That is like an Elder Scouts versus Boy Scouts Royal Rumble.
They got that old man strength, bro. I don't know. You need a lot of Eagle Scouts on the Boy Scout side to take down those elder boys.
Those elder boys.
Especially if
Tom fight one elder Scout or 5 Boy Scouts.
Dude, probably fight the Boy Scouts, dude. No Eagle Scouts.
You don't want to mess with that dad strength?
Nah, dude. They got that old man. They got that wood chopping strength.
That wood chopping string.
Not messing with them.
Going here saying, no lie. I posted that axe throwing comment, hopped over to Twitter, ad for axes. They're listening to you.
I, for one, welcome our robot overlords.
Guys, it is time to get into our next segment. One of our favorites. We call it Hypothetically. This is the game where our only job is to take the scenarios presented in front of us, overthink the hell out of it, go down every rabbit hole we can think of, and let you know what we would do in said situation.
True. You guys ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
All right, here is your first prompt. FYF has a conference at the North Pole to discuss their lists with Santa. Joey and Santa spent all night watching Spielberg movies, and now Santa's too tired to deliver his presents. You are charged with delivering presents to the needy NFL players in the world. What gifts would you give to these specific people? Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, Tom Brady, Zach Wilson, and Russell Wilson. You have to get gifts for each of these guys. How are you doing it?
Sorry, I'm making my list, and I'm checking it twice real quick. So I've got Cousins, Brady, Baker. Is that another name you said?
Zach Wilson, and Russell Wilson. Zach
W. We're just going to shorten this, and Russ W. They don't matter, so they just get They just get the initial right there. So we've got Cousins, Brady, Baker, Zach Wilson, and Russell Wilson that I need to deliver presents to.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
you gotta figure out.
First and foremost, let me get some of the logistics out of the way. I can't fly a sleigh. I'm going to be honest with you. I know that for a fact. Whenever I was in high school, graduating high school, I went and got my like little cord for my gown, and I thought it would be cool to run it through my steering wheel and try to drive with the cord. Know what I mean? Like turn like this and drive. I didn't make it very far. I did not make it out of the high school parking lot.
That's surprising.
Before running over the curb and into the grass. So I know I can't drive a sleigh. So we're just taking one of the reindeer, me and Blitzen. I'm hopping on Blitzen's back. Coop, I think we probably got to like divide and conquer to get to all these in one night because we're not magic like Santa. So I don't know about you. You can take the sleigh with the other like 11 reindeer if you want, or 9, however the hell there are. I'm taking Blitzen and I'm just riding on his back.
Blitzen does not accept your control.
Okay, Donner, fine.
Donner also does not accept your control.
Cupid.
Nope.
Is that one of their names?
Rudolph?
I don't know.
Does Rudolph accept my control?
Okay,
Rudolph.
I go up to Dancer and I say,
Listen.
are we human or are we Dancer? And he looks at me and he says, we are Dancer. And I hop on his back and
he lets out a neigh and accepts your control.
yes.
No, his name's Prancer, you doofus.
There's
Not even the right
Dasher
name.
and Dancer and Prancer.
Oh,
and
there's a Dancer and a
Vixen.
Prancer?
There's a Dancer and a Prancer.
Oh, nice.
You just
Well, Simon,
offended
so
Dancer.
Simon, if we're splitting them up, you're gonna have to stay close to the morning because I remember you saying that you don't drive well at night. Is that true?
That's
Is that
true.
the case?
When it's dark, I don't drive very well.
So you'll have to
I
stay
horrible night vision.
You'll have to stay in range of that sun, and I'll take I'll fly through the darkness, delivering some of these presents. So the first one that I would deliver would be to Baker. We'll split these up. We don't have to each deliver a gift to each person. I would deliver Baker Mayfield his own.
Love how
stadium.
you think you're running this scenario.
Now
I'm just gonna put it all so that it's set you up to fail.
Now we have to deliver to each person.
Now each of you has 2 gifts to get.
Well, so here's what we can do, Coop. Before we leave, you and I come up with the gifts, right? Like Santa dropped the ball here. So maybe one of us is delivering. That's just a time thing. We don't have to divide and conquer the ideation phase, though. We can come up with these gifts together.
So
and
I
then
know
we split them up to deliver them.
I will allow that.
Poor Baker, he had those amazing commercials where he lived at home at the stadium, but now he's been picked up by the Rams. They don't even have their own stadium. They have to share a stadium with the Chargers. So I would deliver my boy Baker Mayfield his own stadium to live in.
His own stadium. Where are you going to buy that?
I don't have to buy it. I'm chilling with Santa. Like the elves make it. The elves. You familiar with the lore? The elves will make it.
They make everything.
They make everything. Yeah, elves. They make everything, bro. You know how it goes. So of course, the
Where are you
elves
going to
will
put the
make.
stadium?
Well, can I ask a question about the elves real quick? Because there's something about it that's always rubbed me the wrong way. And if we're there with Santa, like the elves are cool with it, right? Like that, like the elves want to be there making toys, right?
As far as we know, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I'm not
It's
walking
a
in
good
there
question.
and like
It probably needs to be asked. Yeah, for
instead
sure.
of delivering presents, all of a sudden I'm like, I must free these elves from Santa's evil clutches. Like,
The
this
mission has
could-
changed.
Yeah, the mission could completely change. But okay, cool. Just wanted to get that out of the way.
Maria says, how does Joey get out of this? He's the one who made Santa stay up late. That's true. It's true. He's just
Very
snoring
true.
back there with Santa.
They're snuggled up. They didn't mean to snuggle up and fall asleep.
It's
They
just
fell
so
asleep on the
cold.
same couch. And then Joey just laid over on top of Santa, and Santa put his arms around him. Neither one of them has any idea they're snuggling until they wake up.
And Joey had a cup of hot chocolate in his hand when he fell asleep, and he spilled it all over Santa, dude. So when Santa wakes up, he's gonna be so pissed.
Eat himself.
He's just gonna be so mad at Joey.
You are on the naughty list, Joseph. No gifts for you. So Joe has,
Decided a stadium for Baker.
To answer your
no
last
idea where or how he's going to get the stadium to
answer
the
your
location.
last question, I would, since we're doing a little bit of improv here, I would just drop the stadium right on top of the UCB theater in Los Angeles where the
Nice.
citizens
Nice.
forget. We'll just replace
Nice.
that, So, there you go.
I'm on board. Yeah, that's a great gift for
Okay.
Baker. So it's a home, but a home for Baker is a stadium. It's all he knows how to live in.
And we're just dropping it right on UCB headquarters.
Yep, there you go.
I like
Welcome
it.
home. Welcome home, Baker.
So you still have 4 other NFL players to pick here: Kirk Cousins, Tom Brady, Zach Wilson, or Russell Wilson.
I got
And
Zach
Russell.
Wilson's ready to go. So Zach Wilson, this is a man. We know one thing he loves and one thing only. He loves a cougar. That is Zach Wilson's thing that he loves. But he was the man in college, right? He was the man on campus. He was the man when he was a top 5 draft pick in the NFL. He was the man when he was the starter, even when he wasn't looking good. Dude is not the man anymore, being the pouty guy on the bench. So all of a sudden his game, his ability to go out to like the Applebee's and pick up the local divorced women at the bar, it is just zero now. So we need to get him a 12-month membership to cougarhunter.com. Premium membership. He's got full access because he's got to enter that online dating pool anymore. They aren't lining up for him. Like they used to just line up for Zach Wilson. And now dude needs that profile on cougarhunter.com to find the cougar of his dreams.
They're swiping left. What do you get when you get a premium Cougar Hunter membership, Simon?
Yeah, what access do you get?
Well, you get 20 Cub messages a week. You know what I mean? You gotta pay for more if you want some extras. The normal account only comes with 5, of course. So he gets those 20 premium messages where he can start conversations with the Cougars. And then his profile is boosted as well to show up first before all those Cubs that aren't willing to pay for the premium membership.
Nice. I think he's gonna love that gift. All right, we got 2 locked up.
Yes.
Baker Mayfield, Zach Wilson. They're happy.
All right.
Send that Zach Wilson, I'm assuming, is just an e-card or something, e-gift card. To Cougar
Pretty
Hunter.
A little easier to deliver than
Than
Baker
a
Mayfield
stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a gift. I got a gift for Mr. Kirk Cousins here. Kirk Cousins, and I didn't want to just get him one thing. It's easy to get a man just one thing. I want to get him something that he can use for a bunch of different things, right? So I'm going to get Mr. Kirk Cousins an industrial container of tinfoil, and he can use that for a lot of different things. For instance, he seems to like ruining steaks on the grill by boiling them in tinfoil. So he can boil himself some steaks on the grill. He can make himself a grill for his teeth with tinfoil. Or then he can make himself some chains to wear on the plane if they ever do win another game, which he seems to like doing.
He's he's like that kid in middle school that's just wearing the necklace chain made out of tinfoil.
Tinfoil grill.
Next thing you know, he pulls a duct tape wallet out of his back pocket as well.
The wallet's also made of
Duct
tinfoil.
tape wallet.
He's just loving this tinfoil, dude. Get himself a tinfoil hat, for all the conspiracy theories and
that he loves.
which he loves, dude. And he can use the tinfoil to make himself one of those things that you put over your car windshield to keep your car warm, since the first thing he did when he got to Minnesota was complain about how cold it was. So Kirk Cousins, a lot of things he can use for this tinfoil. Can you guys think of anything else that he could use the tinfoil gift for?
Yeah. Sheets.
Sheets.
That would be awful, bro. Try to sleep in
just
tinfoil
like Mama
sheets.
used to make it.
But that's his like social media. Like he does that all the time where he posts things like with the steak and people are like, what are you doing? I can picture him being
Stop
like, home from a nice win, time to relax. And he takes a picture of his bed and his pillow is made of tinfoil. It's like, what are you doing?
He could cover every window in his house in it for privacy, and then it wouldn't
to block out the signals.
To block out the signals, and then it wouldn't look suspicious at all from the outside. A house with every window covered in tinfoil. So I think that would be a good move as well.
Yeah,
some nice shiny metallic curtains.
Scott Fish said he's deadly in between brunch and his midday nap. Yeah, just tinfoil and everything. He said tinfoil chewing gum.
Dude, the tinfoil chewing gum, I swear, that made the hair on my arm stand up straight. Tinfoil chewing gum.
That sounds awful.
All
right, Kirk Cousins.
A microwave a week because he just starts putting sheets of tinfoil in the
microwave and
putting 30 seconds and just watching the sparks. And then he's like, oh, shit, I broke another microwave, guy.
He knows it's going to happen, but he just can't help himself.
It's like, it looks so cool. It looks so cool.
He's like, come look to his wife every time. So we got Kirk Cousins, we got Baker Mayfield, we got Zach Wilson. Tom Brady and Russell Wilson are the only 2 left guys.
I got Russ.
I wanted Russ.
Let me know what you think about this, Coop, because I'm open to other ideas, but this is what I think. For some people, the people that have everything, the people that have 12 bathrooms, it's hard to get them an object that they're going to like, but you can get them an event. You can get them something to do, right? And I think that's the direction we go with Russell Wilson. I think what we get Russell Wilson is a captive audience, an audience of, let's say, 1,000 people in an auditorium that aren't allowed to leave and have to listen to everything he wants to say to them. I don't even know what he's going to say. I don't even think we tell him ahead of time. I just think we put him on a stage with 1,000 people in the audience, give him a microphone and say, Russ, they can't leave. The stage is yours. Whatever you want to say. And he's going to get up there for like an hour and be like, Broncos country, let's ride, Mr. Unlimited. He's just going to say catchphrases for like an hour.
Yeah. And everybody that is part of this, everybody that's part of the audience, those are all the people from the naughty list. That's their punishment.
Instead of cool, you got to sit there and listen to Russ for an hour.
Gotta listen to Russ, dude. I was gonna get him Future's greatest hits.
I think we could do both. I think we give him the event, and then as he's leaving and he's just living, he's just high. He's high on life, he's high on the experience, and then we just hand him that Future CD, to really knock him down a peg.
But can we put it in like a Sierra
Tinfoil?
album cover or something? Like
he puts it in his car, but he doesn't realize, and then Future starts playing.
Put it in like a Weird Al album case. So he's like real excited. He gets in there but then he throws it in. He's like, oh no! Another player gets cut.
Yeah, he starts cutting Javonte Williams. He starts cutting everybody.
So
Every song that plays.
Here's what happened, guys. So we're delivering the gifts, everything's going according to plan, except Simon and I, unfortunately, got confused as to who was getting Russell Wilson the gift. So we both showed up at the same time. I'm there with my Future CD. Simon's there with an entire audience of naughty people that he kidnapped.
Naughty people.
And he kidnapped.
Simon brought his army of naughty boys.
He's dumping these naughty boys out of a big red bag. And we're like, oh no, we both ended up here at the same time. We're not going to be able to get across the country to Tom Brady's house. So what we do is we call our good friend JL and we say, JL, please, we got gifts to 4 of the quarterbacks. We need you last minute to think of a gift to get Mr. Tom Brady and deliver it to him. Could you do that for us, JL? Could you do it for us, John?
And I pick up the phone and I say, no.
I knew it. Jail's in charge.
And then I hang up.
You think you can scoop him into this? Jail's running the show, and Coop's like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing." Jail has the trump card. He can just say, "No."
So,
Coop, I got an idea.
I panic.
You got one?
I got one. I panic. I look around. I'm like, "What can I get, Mr. Tom Brady? Do I give him my full set of the original Pokemon cards, all 150, including holographic Charizard? No, that's too important to me. I couldn't possibly give it to him." I look around and I find this. The one thing that the man who has everything doesn't have. Something
it's finger trap.
He can use,
isn't it?
It is.
I knew it.
It's a finger trap so that he can trap all the players that retired on him while he was still going. He can trap Rob Gronkowski into playing another season. He can trap Julian Edelman into leaving the Patriots and coming down.
Nobody can leave him again.
No one
Giselle,
can ever leave him.
Gronk,
Giselle, trap
Bill.
them up. Trap them up. Bridget Moynihan, trapper.
The solution to all of his
problems.
You know what?
His
on my
abandonment
desk
issues.
all along.
I feel like Tom Brady would love a symbolic gift. Know what I mean? He's like the kind of man where I feel like you hand him that and you're like, this is to trap people with you that you don't want to leave. He'd be like, thanks, man.
He'd probably punch me right in the face.
Just turn and walk away.
I'm behind Coop with a backup gift. We're all about healing here. I've got a fresh strawberry plant with a strawberry growing on it. This man has said previously in interviews that he's never eaten a strawberry in his life, but now he's going through some stuff. Like he's going through some things, he's changing. And I think he's going to have to realize maybe the way that he's lived his life isn't the way forward for the happiest version of himself. And so I'm going to give him the strawberry plant. He doesn't have to eat it right now because there will be more strawberries that grow on it, right? He can watch them come and go as he's ready. But when he's ready to make that change, the strawberry's there for you, Tom. It's there for you to take a bite and to start that new chapter of your life.
Time out. Tom Brady's never eaten a strawberry?
That's what he said. That's what he said. There's like the health reasons. There's too much sugar. And then he also claimed when he was a kid, I may be maybe this was a fever dream, but I feel like I remember an interview with him saying like there was always a ton of strawberries in his fridge as a kid or something, or he lived near a strawberry farm and the smell started grossing him out. But now like the TB12 method is like too much sugar in some of these fruits, so I'm not eating them.
Dude, I just Googled it. Not only is there an article on it, but it looks like somebody writes an article every year on Tom Brady and strawberries. Going back to 2006. You can find an article every single year going back to 2016 about Tom Brady and strawberries. Imagine being that famous.
Well
Boy,
done,
that's-
guys. I believe we wrapped up all of the gifts here for all 5 quarterbacks.
We did.
Hey, great job. Great job filling in for Santa.
I love that Baker got a entire stadium and Kirk Cousins got tinfoil.
Got
Not
tinfoil. Yeah.
Not exactly evenly distributed.
Zach
gifts.
Wilson got a gift card to CougarHunter.com. Russell
Oh, you
Wilson
got
got
the best gift.
a staged event with all the naughty boys. Tom Brady got a finger trap.
Dude, kind of.
Killed it. Absolutely killed it.
Yo, Zach Wilson kind of did get the best gift. He kind of did, though. Like, just saying.
Better Balls in the chat said, I am playing Brock Purdy over Russell Wilson this week. Blech. But it makes sense.
Whoa.
But what a world.
Oh, what a world.
You doing that,
okay.
Coop?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm probably just going to play Russell Wilson because Brock Purdy is a rookie last round pick going against Tom Brady. Although Tom Brady plays offense, but he's going against the Buccaneers. I mean, that game, the over under that game is.
I was really confused
So,
when you
I'm
first said
telling
he
you
was
guys
facing
right
Tom
now.
Brady.
Vegas is never. You can't get everything right, but when Vegas puts an over under on these games of like 36, 37 points, those games usually suck. So just a warning, that game's probably going to be bad.
It's probably going to suck. I think I would go
Yeah.
Zach Wilson over Brock Purdy this week.
Russ Wilson.
Yeah, it's
I would
brutal.
start Brock Purdy over Zach Wilson.
Scott Fishing, who said you spent all your gift money on Baker and had to dollar store it for everyone else. And Coop came in and it was like whenever you're like whenever you're writing words on a poster or something and you start out with like the big letters and then you run out of room, or you're writing on a line and then as you get to the end you don't want to go to the next line, so you just write smaller and smaller and smaller.
I used
the
all.
present.
I used
That's
most
also
of
a
our.
John Mulaney bit.
You're right. The happy,
We're just biting John Mulaney.
big ass H.
Yeah.
Big ass
H.
I commandeered too much elf labor for the first gift, so we had to we had to string the rest together.
They unionized after building a stadium on Christmas morning.
Unionized.
Good for you, elves.
Yeah.
Support it.
Went on strike. I like it. All right, guys, let's get into our last hypothetically prompt here. Would you rather only wear used dirty uniforms, or only wear cleats and a jock strap, or only wear Axe body spray and a towel?
Where?
Whoa, the cleats and a jock strap.
Up to you, baby.
I mean,
When
like,
you-
am I in a game? Am I a player in the NFL, or am I in my living room?
All the time.
When you said only wear cleats and a jock strap, the first thing I thought of is that's probably how Jim Harbaugh walks around his house at home. like when he gets home from work, like that's how Jim Harbaugh just
like,
chills. Now I can finally get comfortable.
Cracks open a beer. You see him, the last thing he takes off, he's got his Michigan hat on. It's soaking wet because he showers with his Michigan hat on. And then the day's finally over. He throws that to the side, cracks open his beer, spreads his legs.
He goes in his walk-in closet and walks all the way down to the end. It's just an entire row of khakis all the way down. And he pulls off a hanger that says like 340 and hangs a pair of khakis on there. He has a different pair of khakis for every single day of the year, but they're all the same. He just
But
That's
one
hilarious.
jock strap. It's the same jock
The
strap.
same
every
jock
single
strap,
day
yeah.
that
One
he's wearing.
jock.
Can't wash it. It's the lucky one.
Okay, so I've got some questions.
Okay.
My first question
Dirty
is
uniform.
what were all the things again? Because I was too busy thinking about Harbaugh. I missed the last one.
I will repeat them after Simon's question. What was it, Simon?
Does the dirty uniform go is the jock strap part of the uniform?
Is the jock strap part of what uniform?
Like the first question, you said wearing dirty uniforms. What's
Yes.
dirty? The jersey and the pants? Or like, are my socks dirty? My jock strap dirty? Am I required to wear a jock strap?
Imagine an NFL player just played an NFL game. Your entire wardrobe consists of that dirty laundry.
Do
I don't
know
care
who it
what you
came from?
wear.
This
No.
game, this game played on. I imagine it was played on grass. Was it raining? I mean, what were the conditions for the game?
It depends. You have a wardrobe, so you have a whole
I
collection of
Coop's
things.
worried
Some days
about
it rains.
mud.
I got turf. If I go going to a wedding, I bust out my like. It's sweaty, but at least the game was played on turf, so it's kind of
Exactly,
clean. Okay.
Yeah.
And
But it's
Coop's worried
real
about
sweat.
mud, and I'm worried about like gooch sweat. Like that's my biggest concern here. Is like I don't want that touch.
Is it dirty because I wore it, or it's dirty because somebody else wore it?
Because somebody else wore it?
No.
It's dirty because someone else wore it.
Okay. What was the last
And
one?
then-
So let me
Axe
repeat them
body
again.
spray and a towel was the last
Yeah.
one.
It was, would you rather only use dirty uniforms, or only wear cleats and a jock strap, or only wear Axe Phoenix body spray and a towel?
So what Keith is
Did I
wearing?
not
So
leave that out the first one?
what producer Keith is wearing right now?
Yes.
As you said that, he's currently spraying Axe body spray around himself like this.
He's like, oh,
Please
it's
do
kinda,
that. Hear my
he's like,
name?
oh,
Oh
it's
shit,
kinda,
this one's empty.
he's like, it's kind of cold in here this morning. Better put on some more body spray.
His apartment just smells like a middle school locker room.
I cannot do the dirty jerseys. I'm just telling you now, like that would gross me out so bad. I shower minimum twice a day, usually 3 times a day. Like that's nasty, man. That's so gross. I would never feel clean. I would never get to sleep. I got to cancel that one out. And the other 2 options, I don't know. They sound pretty comfortable.
So Simon, you have the other 2 options that sound pretty comfortable. Do you have any other questions, or are you picking one of them?
Do I have to wear the cleats to bed?
No.
Ooh.
You can wear what you want to bed.
Okay, so I can
That
change
would have
into
been an
pajamas.
absolute deal breaker, dude.
Okay,
Please. I can't even wear socks to bed.
Me
My feet
neither.
just get too toasty.
I stick them outside of the covers. They're standing out. I think I know where I'm going here, JL.
I do as well.
I spend
All right.
99% of my life at home, working from home, doing all this stuff. And then whenever I go out, that's a huge exaggeration, by the way, like significant exaggeration, but that's the point of this game. I spend a lot of my life at home, and I think how I'm going to be most comfortable either way on Zoom calls or on stream, it's going to be weird. Nips are out, right? But with a towel, I can change up what's getting covered, right? I can come on stream. I can hang the towel over my shoulders, at least get some coverage up here to stream with you guys. Stream ends, whip that towel off, wrap it around my waist, cover up the page, and head out to the living room for the rest of the day. And Axe body spray, you know what? People will know they'll know when I enter the room. I'll walk in and they'll be like, some hot jock just walk in here.
Did someone attractive just walk nearby me?
Dude, no chance, bro. I mean,
did some middle school loser just walk in?
Hell yeah. Nah, dude.
Nope, that's a grown-ass man.
Here's the thing. You're doing the math on, the 99% of your time that you spend at home or whatever. I'm doing the math on the amount of time that I spend on camera, which for this show is a minimum 15 hours a week. And then I got other shows that I do. Both your moms are watching. My auntie Koopy's watching. I'm trying to do my best to be wearing a shirt for most of those days. And 2 of those options, no shirt happening in those. So and not to mention, half of my clothes are jerseys anyway. So I'm just going to be rocking the jersey, dude. Even maybe a little dirty. That's fine. It's still dope. So I'm going with the jerseys. Hopefully
stinky
I get
boy.
That's fine. I mean, hey, I'm at home. Simon, you're at home 99% of the time. Who cares? So give me the jerseys. I'll take a bunch of free jerseys.
I respect that, Coop. You could probably resell them too, depending who they came from.
Game
as soon
worn.
as you wash
Game.
them, then you
It's like your Uncle Jesse.
Nah,
They're
more
pickup football.
They're more valuable game used jerseys, bro.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well done. Hypothetically today.
We
and
did
before we go on, Matthew came in with a question. Could I keep Cup for the playoffs? I don't need the roster space, but will he even be startable over someone like T. Higgins? What do you guys think?
Why in the world would they bring Cooper Kupp back?
Because Baker's there.
If you have nobody else, no needs, your waiver wire is completely bare, sure, hold on to Cooper Kupp. But if there is anybody on the waiver wire where you're like, I can add them, they can help me win, then I'm dropping Cooper Kupp because I don't think he will play again this year. Yeah. Of course, there's a chance. So, but like, if you got nothing else to add, you can hold on to him. But I'm not prioritizing keeping him. So you're saying there's a chance? I am. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it might be worth it to keep him just to block your opponents, because like that would stink if you carried Cooper Kupp this whole time and dropped him and then lost in the Super Bowl to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. That would suck.
Keep him if you can.
As coming up, we're going to play some poll perception with our friend Vinnie Iyer. We're going to preview this weekend's games, and then Dio Ledbetter, reporter for the Atlanta Falcons, is going to come on a little bit later, talk some Desmond Ridder, some Kyle Pitts, and Falcons in general. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
The only person, I've said this to you before, who I believe back then, of all those power hitters who truly was clean, Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean, I think so when he got hurt. We'll never know that for sure either.
Nah, dude.
We've seen guys who were not big take substances.
That's true.
I just get busted. So it's not about that always.
I hear you. It's just, don't you think with the way his career kind of went, you would think that he didn't take anything?
I don't think he did, but we'll never know 100%.
I'm going to keep telling myself that he didn't. The 1 year player, I mean, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. In the 1990s, Ron, as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid who plays video games and collected cards, there was no one cooler than Ken Griffey Jr. I still wear my hat backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. did it and he looked really cool doing that, wearing a backwards baseball cap. Like, he made everything the guy did looked cool. Even the home run in the movie Little Big League, it's acting, it's all, I guess, fake, but even he made that look cool. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you're a little bit older than me, but in the 90s, besides Michael Jordan, was there a more loved athlete than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, no, I love Griffey. He's one of my favorite players ever, from defensively to hitting his swing. And yeah, I would have loved to see what he could have done if he had stayed healthy, the final numbers he finished with. So no, I was a huge fan of Ken Griffey, and it's a shame though that all those injuries towards the end of his career just really limited the production he put up, but he still put up elite numbers. He was so fun to watch. So I'm a huge Ken Griffey guy.
And here's the other thing too. So 1994, the season got shortened because of the strike.
And he finished with 40 homers in 111 games that year, man. And then he had 56 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, and then 48. He had a stretch 4 years in a row, 49, 56, 56, 48, 40. I mean, unbelievable. And then, yeah, once he hit like 31, he started to miss games, 111, 70, 53, 83. So think about that. All those years that he lost, and he still hit 630 home runs, man. Yeah. So if he was clean, he would have been the all-time home run champion. Again, we're all guessing here, but you would think, all right, well, once he got into age 31, 32, that's when the body started breaking out, which is typical, right, for someone who's not using anything, whereas we saw Barry Bonds just get better with age, and we did not see that with Griffey. So look at 2001, where he's 31, he played on, look at the home runs decline, 8, 13, 20, 35, 27, 30, 18, 15 to his age 38 season. Even age 39 in 170 games, he had 19 home runs. So he probably would have definitely been the all-time home run leader had he been able to stay healthy.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Oi.
Hey.
Oi.
That was pretty cute.
It was.
I kind of like doing that together right there. We got Tommy in here saying jail is like a dungeon master. We should call this segment Hogs and Wagons. Hypothetically, just call it Hogs and Wagons. I don't see how those two are related. Am I missing something? Hogs and Wagons? How's that related to Dungeon Master? There are lots of wagons. I must be playing the wrong D&D. Not enough wagons in my D&D or hogs, if we're being honest. Man, now that you know what, I'm gonna have to write some hogs into the Dungeons and Dragons campaign I've been working on, JL.
Yes,
there's gonna have to be some hog characters, maybe a whole hog town that you guys
can't
have
wait
to
till we
end up
do
visiting.
it
This off season. We're planning on it. It'll be a fantasy football themed Dungeons and Dragons campain that I've legitimately been working on for years at this point. So hopefully it's good. Yeah. Maybe I should say I've been working on it for 3 months, just so we don't get the hopes up over there.
Maybe.
Oh, and Tommy clarified and said instead of Dungeons and Dragons, it's Hogs and Wagons. So there was nothing additional to that. Just
It just it
calling
ends
it-
in ONS.
Instead
Solid.
of Dungeons and Dragons, it's dogs and
I can't think of a
dragons.
single other word that ends in ONS, so maybe it is impressive.
Lions.
There
Nailed
you
it.
go.
Check it out. Dogs and Lions, the new remake of Dungeons and Dragons, coming to game stores near you. Pick up the adventure guide.
We the Uber that we got in last night, the Uber driver, he had the best radio voice I have ever heard. This man had just this like deep, sultry voice. And then we start talking football in the middle of a big old Lions fan. I'm like, you want a job in radio, man? I think I could make that happen.
Atlanta, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. The best Uber drivers.
Oh my
Every
God,
time.
they're
Consistently.
on one. I feel like the
Like-
night before we were out and we're just driving, nobody's saying anything, and he just turns over and he just goes, "You could buy some milfs over there." And we all just kind of looked at him. We were like, "What? What'd you say, Brandon?"
Just in case you wanted to know.
Yeah.
That's the spot.
He's like, "I went there once," and I was like, "Okay, all right. Did you find what you're looking for?" He's like, "No, not really." I'm like, "Oh."
They were fresh out. They were fresh out. Joey said to the Uber driver, say, "This isn't my normal job." Yeah, that's the line as well. 100%. No, but JL, it's like a thing. The Uber drivers in Atlanta are on one every time. You get them in there, and it's always a different story, a different crazy thing. You never know what's gonna happen. I remember one time, Leanne and I were waiting for an Uber, and the Uber pulls up, and on our app, like it tells you the name, right? And so we know Shannon's coming to pick us up. So you confirm with them. All of a sudden, like the Uber rolls up, rolls down the window, immediately reeks of weed out of her car. Like it just starts smelling. And she rolls down her window and she goes, "Shannon?" And I go, "That's your name." And she goes, "Oh, yeah. Sorry about that." And then we get in her car, okay? And as she's driving 80 miles per hour on a 45-mile-per-hour road, she's telling us about how she got arrested on Thanksgiving for going 120 in a 70. And she's scrolling through her phone, like, and while she's doing this, it's just a picture of ass. And she's like, "I work at a strip club. That's not me." While she's driving over the speed limit, gets to the picture that is her mugshot finally. And she says, "Fire mugshot, though. Everything happens for a reason."
Hashtag blessed. Hashtag blessed, bro.
It's the greatest line of all time. She says, "Fire mugshot. Everything happens
Yes.
for a reason."
Shannon the goat. Yes.
Shannon, the absolute goat.
Oh,
Guys-
I respect the hell out of Shannon.
Joining us right now on the show, we've got our friend Vinnie Iyer coming up. For those of you that do not know Vinnie, he's an NFL and fantasy football writer over at the Sporting News and host on Locked On Sports Network. Vinnie, thank you so much for joining us today, my friend.
How's it going, guys?
What up, Vinny?
You enjoy that game last night? You were probably calling for Baker to come out and kill it, right? You knew he was going to lead a game-winning drive.
I mean, it was good to see it. I mean, I thought the Raiders were going to win, and I've had them covering that 6-point spread. It was over when it was that touchdown, or was 16-10. You knew it was over then because the Raiders were either going to run out the clock. So I was like, okay, let's just root for Baker to win this thing. It doesn't matter, and it's such a Raiders thing to do, to have 3 impressive wins and then to blow another lead. I think the stat popped up yesterday that they're the first team since at least 1930 to go 0-4 when leading at halftime. So if they lead at halftime, it's a bad thing for the Raiders. They should just not bother showing up in the first half. Just trail.
I think like everyone was on the Raiders yesterday. Most people. Yesterday on the show, we did a prediction contest. All 4 people picked the Raiders to win. Some for the Rams to cover, but mostly just picking the Raiders to win outright and cover that spread. But we forgot the embarrassment factor. If losing a game would have an extra level of embarrassment, the Raiders seem to find a way to do it. Like Joe, you brought it up. They lose to Jeff Saturday in his first NFL coaching game after he's never been a coach anywhere outside of the high school level. Then they win 3 in a row, like you said, Vinny. Then they come out and lose to Baker Mayfield, who's had 1 practice, been with the team for 2 days. He knows like 8 plays, and Sean McVay's just explaining plays to him in his headset while he's out there on the field, and he pulls out a victory.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was what happened to the Raiders offense. They were red hot, and this Rams defense was falling apart. There was no Aaron Donald. Their second and third corners are bad. The safeties are shaky. There's nobody out there. And the Raiders have Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. And these guys have been killing it the last 5 weeks. It's like no one has been able to stop them. And they come out. I get Devontae Adams had those 2 big plays, and then you had Jacobs did some decent running, and he had the touchdown. But, man, that was just embarrassing to not put up more than that many points. And that's why they lost the game in the end. I mean, you only score 16 points against that shell of the Rams defense. I mean, it's not enough points. And
It's not enough points.
And,
No.
But then at the end, just their mental mistakes, too, like Jerry Tillery. Like, the game would have been over if he just didn't do anything there to mess with Mayfield. So, I don't know, but it was good for Baker. You could see it, that it's impressive. It shows that if you go to a good coach and an offense that knows what they're doing, even if you're struggling there on a short week, you can succeed. But if you're at the Panthers and Ben McAdoo, it could take a long time, and you still may not be good.
I'm really I'm cheering for the Sean McVay, Baker Mayfield renaissance now. Like, if Sean McVay can bring the best out of Baker Mayfield, then this whole situation seemed to work out for him. If that relationship can develop, which it seems like already those guys are hitting it off. They're finding something, some chemistry between his coaching, his play calling, and Baker. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he can do with them.
The old rumor was that like McVay would he would call the plays, and then they would get the team to the line early, and then he would keep talking to Baker up until the mic would cut out. Sorry, not Baker, to Jared Goff. He would keep talking to Jared Goff right up until the mic would cut out, like 15 seconds before the end of the clock. And he would like help him with like the audibles and like what he's seeing. So if I trust anyone to guide a new quarterback, it would be McVay, right?
McVay. Tommy in the chat saying this is going to be a long day. Yeah, Raiders fans have a long one ahead of them. Nobody's going to shut up about Baker Mayfield leading the game-winning drive. Vinny, we brought you here on today to play some poll perception with us. Have you played poll perception with us before? I know we play a lot of
Yes, I have. Yes.
Then you're an expert. You got this one.
I don't
down.
have my finger on the pulse of the people, so
Right. Yeah, we used last.
That's right.
Last
That's
time we were
right.
joking
use this
that
one when we need a win.
we need a win because he's too good at the other ones. Now, but before we get poll perception, I do got to ask. I'm not sure if you guys asked while I was out for a second just now, but how'd you do at Foxwoods, Vinny?
I did okay. I ended up $40, if that means anything.
Hey,
What do you
plus
mean,
money is
dude?
plus money.
Plus money, dude. That's
That's
what
a
it's
win.
all about.
It's a dub.
I just realized, and I learned this today, that our office has some weird thing here in Charlotte where apparently I could have gone into my office and put like prop bets on a DraftKings app because of the way like the thing is configured. So I'm like, why didn't anyone tell me this before? I would have gone to the office like every day. Like I've been going to the office for a while, but like in terms of that, but then I was like, oh no, this DraftKings app, if I had it and it worked, because I was in Connecticut, New York, and all of a sudden it worked. Like this is trouble. Like
It's dangerous.
Yeah. But I did actually get all my quarterback and wide receiver props right. I did not get any of my running back props right. So I think I learned something there. Go after the passing game a little bit more. It's a little bit easier to tell what's going on. The running game is just so dependent on so many things, the game script. And I had Kenneth Walker, and I was like so mad because he had to just hit, I think, 65.5 yards. And he had 30 yards in the first round or something. I'm like, oh, we're golden here. And I think I had Christian Kirk, Jared Goff, and Jalen Hurts, and they all passed their yardage at halftime.
Awesome.
This is looking good. But then it was like the running game. And unfortunately, I made a mistake. The number was too high on Nick Chubb, and I should have known that. I just went for it anyway. So this is the Texans. He's owned them. And then they randomly involved Kareem Hunt a little too much in that game. So
Did you put in any future bets? Any like Super Bowl bets, or did you just keep it to the weekend while you were there?
I just kept it to the weekend. I think I'll get another opportunity here. Now I know that I have some access to this, but I'll look into it. But yeah, the futures, I was just trying to learn a few things and try to just get a little bit better at it because I'm not one of those guys that just puts a lot of money into gambling. It's just something I'd rather do to learn and get right versus the money. You know, like if I lost a $5 bet, I'd be upset about it just as much if it was like 5,000. It's weird to say that, but like just getting it wrong, the principle of getting it wrong is what
I get you.
You know what? We should do then? We should get Vinny in for a prop bet draft. We do a draft sometimes for the single games.
Yeah.
One of the ones very recently, I think we only got 1 right out of 9. So anyone
we'll
can
get
Props
Vinny
are
in on
hard.
one of
They're
those.
pretty sharp on the props. I'll tell you that. Like the numbers are pretty tight, and there's some players that you got to go away from the superstar players that everyone's going after. You got to go dig deeper. Look at the game situations. That's what I learned. Like just go for who's going to pass a lot this week and why, and then go there.
By the way, we got
hit
Toronto
those up.
Dave in the chat. I don't think we brought him up before, but he said, "Sub goofball, especially good morning to Simon."
Yeehaw!
Plus money is a dub. What up, Dave? Good to see you, my friend.
Shout out Dave from the Toronto area.
TD.
Welcome in, Dave. Glad to have you in here. Guys, we're going to get into some poll perception now. Vinny, would you like to go first, second, or third in today's game?
I'll go third this time, just to mix it up.
Vinny going third. So then the other two guys, I'm not letting you guys pick. Jail, you're going to go first. Coop, you're going to go second. Vinny, you are going to go third because that's the order you are on my screen. And it's easiest to keep track of that way. John Luke, you're up first. How this game is going to work is I'm going to propose a poll to one person here. So Jail, you'll be first. And I'll ask you what percentage of people chose side A in this poll. You give me a percentage. That's going to be setting the line. Okay. The other two contestants are going to be responsible for telling me whether the actual answer that chose side A is over or under that number. You guys will get points if you correctly predict over or under. John Luke, the closer you were to that number, the more points you're going to get. 10 if you're exactly right. 1 if you're 15 away. Scales up in between. And the person with the most points at the end of this game will be our poll perception champion this Friday.
Yep.
Heading into week 14. Week 14, PP champion. Get ready.
You get to be a champ for the whole weekend?
Yeah. You can tell everyone all weekend that I'm a PP champ. You can just run around screaming PP champ
Vinny,
over and over again.
Are you excited to potentially be the PP champ all weekend?
Yeah, I hope that doesn't mean I'm head of the bathroom all weekend.
You can put it in your Twitter bio.
Means whatever you want it to mean.
If you'd like.
Yeah, put it in your Twitter bio.
I mean, I usually put mine on my CV, but that's really up to you.
Front Yard
I
Fantasy,
will endorse you on LinkedIn.
Front Yard Fantasy Week 14 PP champ.
Wouldn't that be funny if we
An
did put that on
asterisk?
LinkedIn and then you just see Coop, Simon, and JL endorse this?
And then you put an LO asterisk that says weekend only. Yeah, perfect.
JL, you ready for your first poll?
Yes, sir.
I'm fired up. I gotta win.
Here we go. This comes to you from Fantasy Focus. Who would you rather have in fantasy for the rest of the season? Side A, Trevor Lawrence. Side B, Daniel Jones. What percentage of the people chose Trevor Lawrence in this poll?
Trevor Lawrence or Daniel Jones. I got to believe it's on the Trevor Lawrence side. Daniel Jones, it doesn't matter if he was lighting the league on fire. People would still not want him. I'm going Trevor Lawrence side. I'm going to go 69%.
69%. Nice from JL. Coop, you taking the over or under on JL's guess of 69%?
The naughty boy number. You're gonna end up in Simon's bag going to
Russell Wilson.
I know. This
conference.
is my plan all along. Didn't want to pay for
So
tickets.
Naughty. I'm gonna go under on this strictly because we talked about how people just love Foster Moreau and Donald Parham inexplicably. There's like a whole segment of fantasy gamers that had Daniel Jones for one of those games where he ran the ball a lot. And I swear, people have a weird affinity for Daniel Jones. They one of those, the upside is always there type players. So I want to say that there are going to be some people that like Daniel Jones here. So I'm going to say under.
Coop taking the under. Vinny, what about you? Over or under JL's guess of 69% on the Trevor Lawrence side?
Well, I'll share a little story from the Foxwood experience. I was watching all the games on Sunday, and the one game I avoided because I didn't want any piece of it because it was boring was the Giants-Commanders game. I'm like, I did it on purpose. So I guess Connecticut is right on the border of Giants fans. So what game is on the biggest screen with the the Giants Commanders? And every time it's like, yeah. I'm like, come on.
That is Giants territory.
Then it's like a tie. It's like, what?
I know exactly where you were sitting for those games. I know exactly where that it was. Yeah. It's like not inside of any area. It's kind of like an outdoor area, right?
But it's just. But the Giants and Commanders.
I know, bro.
Not the Eagles or Cowboys fans.
Brutal.
Just enjoy it. Anyway, so I'm going to say there's a lot of Giants fans out there. The long story short here. I'm going with I think I'm going to go with where Coop is going, and I'm going to go on the Daniel Jones side of things here.
After having to watch Daniel Jones on the big screen, Vinny says it's definitely
He's
under.
not any better in bigger.
It's not better when you make the screen bigger.
No.
Maybe if we make it smaller, we should try it the other way. Well, Dale, you guessed 69%. Coop took the under. Vinny took the under. Dave guessed 78% in the chat. Tim guessed 72% in the chat. And as a reminder to everyone playing, you can play along in the chat. Throw your answers in there. We'll shout you out if you are correct. We'll mock you if you're very wrong. And the actual percentage of people that chose Trevor Lawrence over Daniel Jones was 67%.
Wow.
Very good guess, JL. You're within 5, only
boy.
2 percentage points away. That's going to give you 5 points. Coop and Vinny, you guys each got the over-under, right? So you're both going to get 2 points for that one.
JL, give us a Komodo dragon, dude. Damn, bro.
I'm not in my normal chair.
Within
Shoulder
2.
movement,
Yeah, it's
JL.
tough.
Just incredible.
God, it's so fun doing it too. Like as much as you guys enjoy watching it, I enjoy doing it. It's
I
truly-
imagine like
It's
Maria
really
walks
fun.
in
It's
the
fun
front
for the
door
whole
and JL's
family.
just like sitting on the couch, like doing the Komodo dragon.
yeah, I would
and just, like,
100% do it. Yeah, not on camera.
Doing other Komodo dragon stuff. Toronto Dave, what an incredible selly. I wish like a hockey player scores a goal and he just does a Komodo dragon, dude.
You're getting going. It's my waddle, man. It's my waddle.
It's nice, dude. I like that, man. Now I'm worried. Now I'm worried. You scored so many points. It's gonna hard for me to be the PP weekend champ.
Yeah.
Coop, it is time for your poll. You ready for your poll?
Yeah, I got work to do.
Let's do it. This one comes to you from Answer the Poll.
Okay.
POLE is how it's spelled, though.
Weird.
Pick the worst NFL team listed. Side A, the Buccaneers. Side B, the Rams. Side C, the Raiders. Side D, the Saints. What percentage of people chose the Buccaneers in this poll?
So I think per usual, you start off splitting it all into 25. So, there's 4 answers. I start that way. That's a JL trick that I stole from them. I think the Buccaneers are actually going to be the lowest one on this list. I think the team that most people are going to pick to be the worst would be the Rams. So they're probably close to 30. They might be over 50, the Rams themselves. I think I'm going to go real low with the Buccaneers. I'm going to say Buccaneers are as low as 9%. I think maybe some people will click them, but I think under 10% of people are going to click the Buccaneers when those other teams are bad, man. Raiders stink.
Coop taking 9%, a low guess here, 9% from Coop. And Vinny, now I need you to tell me whether the actual answer of people that chose the Buccaneers as the worst team listed is over or under Coop's guess of 9%. As a reminder, the 4 teams were the Buccaneers, the Rams, the Raiders, and the Saints.
I'm going to go. I think just by math, that you have to go over 9%.
Vinny, crafty.
No,
I wanted to set it low enough that you wouldn't guess under. That's kind of where I was going for there.
Yeah, so I have to go higher than that because there's enough bias against Tom Brady. That's the thing.
Just people that are just mean. Yeah, that's Twitter.
Yeah,
That's Twitter.
The meanies. I forgot to factor in the meanies.
Vinny taking the over, says math, you gotta. He says it would be irresponsible to take the under. JL, are you feeling irresponsible or are you going with Vinny?
I'm feeling a little irresponsible.
Ooh, naughty list.
Just a little bit irresponsible here. It's gotta be the worst team.
Naughty list.
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the under.
The Rams should be 97% of people picking the Rams.
JL,
Should be.
take the under here. We get some guesses in the chat, and I will say most of them are under. We had Dave come in here with 8 and then said Coop just had to one-up me. 8 to 9. You went up by 1. Tim with the 5 guess and Joey Wright guessing 2% on that side. So people are low over here. The actual percentage of people that chose the Buccaneers as the worst team listed was 6%.
Wow.
Coop, you were within 5 percentage points, so you're going to get 5 points as well, bringing you to 7. Jail, you're also going to be to 7. Vinny, unfortunately, you picked the over, which was the mathematically correct play. Like, you're 100% right there, but it didn't pan out. It's like in high-low.
Math can
Whenever
suck my
there's
butt.
You were
there's a
100%.
3 on the table, and you take the over on the 3, and it's next out comes the 2.
You were 100% right up until the point you were completely wrong.
I mean, it was a good number. You said a good number, so that was a good. That's all about the number.
It was a good line.
Tough number. Tim Wright within 1. There you go, Timbo.
Tim got that one right. Well, Coop, that's gonna tie you up with JL for the lead. But we've got another poll coming to you. Vinny, you ready for your poll?
Yeah, I think mathematically now I cannot win. So this is
Sure
for
you
fun.
can.
You
got to hit on the head.
You hit it on the head, or if you get it
And
right
then-
and both of them guess the wrong direction,
That's true.
then you have made a 3-way tie right here. If you're
My
within
math is
5.
obviously off from the last round.
And of course,
Well,
tie
here's your poll.
goes to the guest, as
Yeah.
always.
All right.
This one comes to you from Woke Thuney, who in his bio it says Chiefs, depressed Buckeyes fan, professional agenda pusher. So just so you know, I wanted to give you the full context. His Twitter bio says Chiefs, depressed Buckeyes fan, professional agenda pusher. And he's got a Chiefs banner photo up there. Now the poll. Who's QB1 of the NFL? And then parentheses, he put no bias. So who's QB1 of
course.
the NFL?
Of
Side
course.
A, Patrick Mahomes. Side B, Josh Allen. Side C, Joe Burrow. Side D, Jalen Hurts. What percentage of people from this Chiefs account said that Patrick Mahomes was the best quarterback in the NFL, the QB1?
Wait, who's the third option? Is Mahomes, Burrow,
Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and Hurts.
Allen?
cares?
Okay.
What do you think, Vinny?
This is a tough one. I'm going to say 88%.
88%. Final answer?
Yep.
JL, over or under Vinny's guess of 88% here?
It's got to be under. I think enough people can make an argument for any of these options here.
And he did say no bias in parentheses. So I
He
guess
did
that's
say no
what-
bias, yeah.
Coop, where you rolling here?
Yeah, no bias, but his Twitter bio says Chiefs agenda pusher. So, so what did you guess, JL?
Under.
So right now, if I guess over, we could mathematically eliminate Vinny from winning.
Rude, but true. Rude, but true.
But I think the answer is under, man. Because the thing with these hater accounts that I've learned from Twitter is that like these like Homer accounts, and you'll learn this from Kevin Tompkins specifically, is that if you're a fan, if you're like a super fan, or Kevin Tompkins isn't necessarily a Packers super fan, he's pretty reasonable, but he gets a lot of haters that are, just follow him just to hate on his Packers take. So these Chiefs accounts, they get a lot of haters too. So I'm going to say under from just the haters following and trying to fire back at this guy. So give me under.
So we got Vinny at 88%. We got the double under, and we got some answers in the chat for this one as well. Strong Style Ninja saying 100%. Dave, right in line with you, Vinny, saying 89%. Tim with 76%. And Ninja, Strong Style Ninja, taking the over on your guess, Vinny. So he's on the over side there. The actual percentage of people that chose Patrick Mahomes in this poll was 80%.
No way.
80%. So, Vinny, you're within 10. So you're going to have 3 points, bringing your score to 5. Coop and JL, you guys each got 2 for correctly picking the under there. But good guesses all around today. Every single person close on the poll.
Way higher than I thought.
Way higher than
That makes
than
sense.
I thought as well.
Chiefs agenda pusher.
Yeah. The Chiefs.
There's
agenda.
there's only like 4 votes for Patrick Mahomes and like 1 pity vote for Joe Burrow.
Vinny, who do you think is the best quarterback in the NFL? Do you think it's Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, I mean, I think I look at Joe Burrow every week and I'm saying, why doesn't this guy get more love? I don't think he's totally out of the MVP conversation right now either. That I see Burrow every week, and I'm excited to see him next week versus Tom Brady. That's going to be fun to see Brady and Burrow meet maybe for the one and only time. So that's exciting, but it really comes down to whoever makes the run in the Super Bowl. If it's Mahomes again, then we're looking at it. Allen I'd like, but it's just hard. He's just so volatile. He's just all over the place sometimes, and a lot of it is dependent on his running of late. If you look at the numbers, a lot of it has been his running. So I don't know. Joe Burrow just seems like the stable guy. I know he's got the most help as well. So that's the other thing we got to consider. Like his receivers overall are better than the other 2 guys. So It's fun, but I think one of those guys should be winning the Super Bowl. Let's say that this year.
Mahomes or Burrow. That would be fun to watch. Well, Vinny, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us today. Everybody watching, if you're not already following Vinny, go and give him a follow on Twitter at Vinnie Iyer. That is VINNIEIYER. And you can check out his work over on sportingnews.com. Vinny, as always, a pleasure hanging out with you, my man. And thanks for coming and playing some pole perception with us today.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. See you next week.
See you next week. Good luck on your games this weekend. Oh, excuse me. Got the hiccups.
Yeah.
Someone
Careful now.
One time at my old job, I had the hiccups like just all day. And this guy that I worked with, he was from Senegal, and he came up to me and he said, you know, in my country, he goes, where I come from, when the kids had hiccups, we would take a thread from their shirt and put it on their head. And then he just walked away from me. And I still to this day don't know if he was messing with me. Like I have no idea if he was messing with me.
But your hiccups are just gone.
But I did take a thread from my shirt and put it on my head just in case. Like that's pretty low risk for high reward.
Imagine if he told you that story and you were just so confused that and then like 10 minutes later you realized that you hadn't hiccuped since he said that to you.
That's
the trick all
up to
along.
people and says confusing things to try to get them to get rid of their hiccups.
And your brain just like resets. You know, you're just like, what the thread?
I like how this show is like any word can just word gets said and it could just uncover a Simon story. You never know what it's going to be. What's going to do it?
It's usually about some weird date he went on.
Do you remember every conversation you've ever had?
My girlfriend seems to think so.
I have no memory of anything
I'm telling
that's ever happened to me.
The best suggestion, I think might have been Tommy in the chat, that was like, we just need to strap a GoPro to Simon at all times. That would make for the most entertaining nonsense.
No, you needed to do that about 10 years ago. Now it's just going to be a lot of me on my couch.
We got to get you out and about.
Just like I'm a prop. Like just
gotta get you out and about. Gotta get you out.
Simon
See
out on the
people.
streets.
Go on, chew, run along. If you had the GoPro on though, you wouldn't just sit on the couch. You'd be like, I got to do something for the people.
Yeah, I'd feel the pressure. I feel the pressure of the GoPro.
We need a secret GoPro.
Guys, today there is a special guest coming on Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And it is former big league general manager Steve Phillips, and he's analyzing all the deals today at 1 p.m. Eastern time on Lunch Money. So if you want to find out what the next big move will be, where the value is betting MLB futures for the 2023 season, make sure you don't miss Steve Phillips on Lunch Money today with Kyle and Ray. Again, that's at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Former big league manager Steve Phillips guesting over there. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Live with Lisa Ann and Rick Kamla. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Obviously, you've got a couple identities here, right? And so, Lisa Ann's here. Let's talk sports. Let's talk fantasy. What about my team? What do you think about my team? Like, that's dope, man. Like that brand you have built here is huge. And over in Switzerland, you're a big deal in Switzerland. Of course you are.
In Europe, all over Europe. But when I was at the Jersey show like 2 or 3 weekends ago, my security was shocked because every other guy legit handed me his phone and said, yo, Lise, can you check my lineup? Can you look on the waiver wire? I got bye weeks coming up. You're right. It's really neat how my worlds have become just this synergy between, me being me and then me reaching out to all of these different people and having this common ground that now it's like we're kind of bros when we talk about sports, right? We're just friends. We're all sharing the same heartbreak or pain. Sports is the international language.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Probably every team knows that inking starting pitchers to big deals and big money agreements is bad business. But that's the business they're in. What else are they going to do? That's what it costs to play the game. And all these pitchers realize it. I'd like to sit here and say, well, you should develop your own pitching. You should never pay these guys $25 million a year. But Ray, I don't think teams can do that. It's like the pitchers have a lot of power despite their weaknesses and despite their fragility. They still have so much control over the purse strings of these teams and these GMs and these owners. They don't care, Ray. They're seeing the same numbers we are. They know Jake DeGrom, if they sign him, you pray for 130 innings. Every team knows that, Ray. They may say something different, but they know what's going on. And Ray, it won't stop them. I mean, what do you think DeGrom gets in free agency this year?
I think he'll get 4 or 5 years, and he'll get 35 a year each, right? Paying $20 million for Drew Smiley is stupid. Paying $200 million for DeGrom is idiotic, in my opinion. Jacob DeGrom has had 14 injuries the last 2 years. Like, every part of his body, it's just, and he's phenomenal. But you can't be locked in. If DeGrom makes 25 starts, 26 starts, if he throws 150 innings, you could win your division. You could win the World Series. I get it. But if he does the other thing, which is what he's done the last couple of years, your team is so hamstrung. Unless you're one of like 2 or 3 teams, you can't spend your way out of that.
However you're invested in sports, from betting to fantasy, collectibles, and more, join our community on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Coming to the stage right now, we got another member of the FYF fam, Joey Wright, joining the show. Jail's going to have to take off in a little bit. Joey's coming in to hang out with Coop and I. It's a repeat. Me, Coop, and Joey, it's like the squad this week. Thursday and Friday have been the Coop, Joey, and Simon squad.
Yeah.
Jail, we get that squad every day with you. It's okay. I promise. You don't have to be sad because you know what's going to happen on Monday and on Sunday? It's right back to the squad again.
What?
We're going to be back here live every day, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. And you're there unless, like, I don't know, you get stuck on MARTA for all eternity.
We call it the Hogless Squad.
The Hogless
Squad.
Coop and it's just you
Weirdly
and me.
It makes me feel better.
It's just you and me. It's Coop
feel comforted by that.
Probably the best you can feel when someone calls you a hog.
Yeah.
Joey, what's up? Welcome in, my friend.
Hey guys, did you enjoy that game last night?
That was wild.
Yeah.
And luckily, all of us predicted that coming. We all saw it coming. Every single one of us in the prediction contest yesterday all said, you know what, the Rams got a chance here, especially if Baker Mayfield plays the majority of the game.
I had to start Van Jefferson as a desperation flex, so I was pretty excited there at the end.
Yeah, that worked out pretty well for you.
I think I did as well in a few leagues, if I'm not mistaken.
Week 14
thing now, is he?
I didn't start Van Jefferson anymore. All my teams are too good.
Are we allowed to put the middle finger on better?
Nerds.
Jay in here saying, I love the movie shirt, Joey.
Thank you.
What's on movies?
It's the fast food restaurant from like Dogma and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, that's cool, dude. Yeah. I love those.
Is that a cow on
Kevin Smith is a cool dude.
Like little cow, little movie
dude,
cow.
That guy Kevin Smith is one of the best storytellers of all time. Like when he just gets on a microphone and just tells stories from the industry, captivating. Bro.
I got to do one of his evenings with Kevin Smith. I got to go to it, and
get out of here.
The audience, because it's a thing, you go and there's a microphone, you get to ask questions. It's a Q&A. 3 questions were asked for a 4-hour evening.
Exactly.
That's how much the guy talks.
Yeah, so. That's a good run his mouth, man. But it's interesting, no question.
Oh, super. It was really fun. It's really funny.
Also, I see Dave in the chat saying, bring back Gremlin Cyan. Gremlin. No, the world is a better place without Gremlin Simon running around. Gremlin Simon was a bit of a problem. A kind problem, but still a problem.
So Toronto always likes talking about, doing Gremlin stuff. When I saw the what's that dictionary? The big one?
Merriam-Webster.
Yeah, their word of the year this year, I immediately thought of Toronto Dave. Have you seen what the word of the year is?
Is it bonk?
It's goblin mode.
Goblin mode is the word that got added to the dictionary?
Yes. Goblin. It's not only got added to the dictionary, but it's their word of the year. And it basically is what Toronto Dave describes as being a gremlin. It's a type of behavior which is unapologetically self-indulgent, lazy, slovenly, or greedy, typically in a way that rejects social norms or expectations. Just going full goblin mode, bro.
Goblin mode is like showing up to the pizza buffet in your pajamas, bare fisting the pizza off the line without a plate, then sitting on the table and eating it. That's goblin mode. No, sitting by the soda fountain and just pushing the soda into your mouth while eating pizza. Goblin mode.
Goblin mode.
Yeah.
Everyone should get one goblin mode day a year. JL, are you going to go goblin mode today when you get off here?
Absolutely. That's what I have to go do. I have to go goblin mode.
Joe, we had a request from Tommy in here before you go for one more Komodo dragon.
I'm going to disappoint you, Tommy, because I'm going to ration it out. I'm going to make you wait for it.
Yeah.
You can't do it too much. Make it too annoying.
Speaking of goblin mode and you leaving, I do before you leave, I do want to hear real quick about that game you played last night. You posted the picture because I want it and I need it. So please tell me how it works.
Bowling. It's a new game I've discovered here while I'm in Atlanta at this Prize Picks team convention thing. And they had the whole team come out and it was basically like cornhole. You have these giant bowling pins set up and then you throw a football across the room and try and knock over the pins. But here's the thing is that these boards, boards are all set up in a row. If anybody else, like the people playing next to you, they throw the ball and their ball comes and hits one of your pins over, that counts.
What?
That counts. So you're sitting there trying to play defense. And also if the ball bounces, like someone overthrows it and it bounces and then, it hits like something, but like the wall behind you, it comes and hits the pin, that counts too. And so you have to like play defense against these pins after it passes a certain point. It was wild. It's pretty fun.
Dude, what are the odds of getting hit in the shin with a bowling ball?
There's no bowling ball, so probably pretty low.
Oh, sorry, of a bowling pin. Bowling pin,
pretty high. Pretty high. And
A hockey
the odds
puck.
of getting hit by a football, an errant throw, also very high.
virtually guaranteed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dude, I want that. I looked at the locations right after you said that, and there's none there anywhere.
Tim said, how is that like cornhole? It's like 2 people per side. Each has like a board and then the pins. That's pretty much it.
I want it and I need it.
Well, the pins
So it's like
aren't
cornhole in the structure, but not cornhole in the execution.
Right.
The goal is to knock things over instead of getting it in the cornhole.
Right. But it's 2 boards separated by distance that you're throwing things at.
Beautiful.
And
I want to
2v2.
play so bad. That sounds awesome.
I know.
Let's do it. We got to do it. We'll film it.
Let's set it up. I wonder if you can just rent sets and if we could set it up at the expo or something. Know what I mean? Like get a spot and set up outdoors at the expo and get like a set or 2 of those rented and just have people playing Foaling at the expo.
That would be sweet. We should definitely do that.
Let's look into that. We'll spot right after the bug eating contest. We'll go straight into a Foaling tournament. The FYF Olympics.
Let's just have our own conference.
The FYF Expo.
Yes, FYF Expo.
Wow, rolls right off the tongue.
It really does.
I guess I'll be running around networking and actually doing work while you guys just cut
somebody's
off.
Somebody's got to
Thanks,
do that.
Joey. I appreciate it. That's really nice of you.
I'll
JL,
see you all
I know you
later.
got to head out, but thanks so much. Enjoy the ATL. Have a good one. And Joey, I'll keep your seat nice and warm.
Yeah, I'll
He's gonna
see you
fart in
Sunday.
it for you.
I'm on so many farts.
Okay, that's how I prefer.
I had like 2-day-old quesadillas last night during the game, so they were
delicious.
nasty farts.
Not a boy.
Kevin in here saying, then Joey will accost me in a bathroom like
Not
last
again.
year at the expo. No, you waited right outside the bathroom.
Oh yeah, I
for Kevin
did.
Tompkins to come out.
Tompkins showed up late. I just gave you a shout out like 5 minutes ago, Kev. You gotta rewind.
I didn't know it was Tompkins. You said Kevin, and I was like, who did I accost in a bathroom? And then I was like, oh yeah, I did. So
He said Kevin accosted in the bathroom, and you're like, damn, which time?
yeah,
How many Kevins have you?
Kevin Smith?
How many Kevins
They
have
have
you
these
accosted
really-
in the bathroom?
so many Kevins. They have these really nice bathrooms in Canton. Like you know what I'm talking about.
They are
In the
nice,
hallways.
yeah.
They're like they got the doors all the way to the bottom. So you can bring your friends in
Man.
and have a party.
Yeah. we had a
Honestly,
good
though,
party.
like, you ever feel lonely in those ones with the door all the way to the bottom? You don't even know who else is walking around in there. You can't make eye contact through the 2-inch crack in the door.
Do you not bring a
Don't you
bathroom
guys-
buddy with you?
Don't you guys crave that?
crave that bathroom icon.
I'm kidding. I hate the doors with the gaps in them. I don't trust the shitty little locks where it's like 1 centimeter of metal rod that's held on by a screw that's like completely stripped that you just touch over there. I will poop with my hand on the door the entire time. Do not even jiggle this doorknob. It's closed. Because 1 jiggle and it comes right open every time.
How many times has that happened to you? I feel like the number of times that somebody's walked in on me pooping is so minimal, so few that I don't really even think about it.
I think 3 or 4 times it's happened to me. One time it was on me. It's when I was like 10 and I was confused. I was in a bathroom that was a single-use bathroom, but there was a toilet and a urinal. And I heard someone knocking on the door. And so I got I got confused. I was like, wait, is this not a one-person bathroom? And so I like got up, opened the door, and then sat back down. And then this guy opens it, and he's like, "Oh, sorry." And I was like, "Huh, I guess this isn't a communal bathroom." But I was just gonna let him in to go pee.
Yeah, dude.
This is like never mind. I'm gonna be.
Tommy's saying I never poop in public unless I trip and fall on a curb like Joey. Oh, the privilege in never pooping in public. Like we can choose. Like we can choose where we poop in public. Keith said single-use toilet, throw that toilet away. They do make some single-use toilets over there. Guys, we got some awesome games this weekend that I wanted to talk about. Some real barn burners for fantasy as well. And the first one I wanted to hit on was this Minnesota Vikings at Detroit Lions game, because the over-under is set at 51.5 points. And the Lions, although the line has gone down, are 1.5-point favorites at home in this game. Coop, I just wanted to ask you about that line. Lions are favored at home in this game over the Vikings. That seems absurd. You buying it? You buying the Lions should be favorites in this game?
There are certain teams that are very well-rounded, and then there are certain teams that are not, right? And those teams can struggle with certain types of matchups. And this one reminds me a lot of the Patriots versus Minnesota matchup, where the Patriots just had the right personnel to combat what the Vikings do. The Vikings are a great team for fantasy football because we know exactly who the main players are, right? Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, TJ Hawkinson, Dalvin Cook, right? That's why the Patriots matched up so well, because the Patriots have Jack Jones to cover Justin Jefferson. They have Kyle Duggar to cover TJ Hawkinson. That's why that game went to overtime. That's why the spread was so close, because it's a matchup-based game. The Detroit Lions against this team earlier this year, it was that kind of matchup. Jeff Okudah gave Justin Jefferson a hard time. It's going to fall on TJ Hawkinson here. This game has the perfect formula for a shootout. I'm willing to, even though the spread is set high and they're trying to discourage it, I'll bet the over on this game because it's two good offenses against two bad defenses. Think about the Vikings just let up 380 passing yards to Mike White, and the week before that, 380 passing yards to Mac Jones. Like, this is the conditions are perfect. I would start Jared Goff in DFS. I'd start him in redraft where I have to, and I want pieces of this game, and I want to bet the over. So I am buying it. Sometimes I don't buy it. I'm buying it. Let's go. This game's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
You're buying it too, Joey?
It's my game. It's my game of the week. I can't wait to watch this game. And a player that, like Coop briefly mentioned, we talked about him a lot last night, that I'm really looking forward to starting is Adam Thielen this week. In week 3, he was 6 for 61 and a touchdown. Jefferson's gonna, get his numbers like he always does, but I think Thielen's gonna have a great game in this game. And
let's check and see what the prop bets are for Mr. Thielen. Anytime touchdown for Thielen? What would you guys? Let's see.
I'd throw a bill at that.
Anytime touchdown for Mr. Adam
Plus
Thielen.
170.
Yeah, dude, that's plus money, boy. Right? You're $100 to win 170.
Absolutely.
Put a billion on it.
To your guys' point,
mortgage your house.
Talking about this game as a shootout. Usually, when you look at these anytime touchdown scores, there's one, maybe two players with minus money odds, right? With minus odds in these. We've got 5 players on the FanDuel Sportsbook at minus money odds to be anytime touchdown score. Let's see if you guys can guess all 5 of the players that have minus odds.
Joey, you can go first.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson is number 4 on the list at minus 125.
I'll guess Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook tied for 1. Actually, there's 3 people at minus 140. Dalvin Cook is one of them.
Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams is also up there at minus 140.
I'll guess DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift is also up there at minus 140. So Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, all at minus 140. J. Jeff at minus 125, and there's one more at minus 120.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
We got all 5, Coop. Let's go.
And you know what's crazy is that that means that I like betting Adam Thielen and I like betting TJ Hawkinson. What's TJ Hawkinson's line at?
Let's see. TJ Hawkinson, plus 190. So DJ Chark actually has better odds than TJ Hawkinson. They've got him at plus 180, and then they've got Hawk at plus 190. So
plus 190,
that's a lot. That's a lot of players below plus 200 for this game.
The only player I would temper my expectations for in this game is actually Dalvin Cook. This Detroit run defense has actually been pretty good recently. And Dalvin Cook, historically 123 yards a game and a touchdown through Detroit for his whole career. But this week, I think, I don't think he'll top 100 yards. I think maybe like 80 yards, which is still a great game. But
You got a shootout. You got a shootout game here. The Detroit Lions, if you sort by DraftKings points, which is pretty good measurement, it's basically PPR. The Detroit Lions have let up the third most points to the tight end on this season on average. They've let up 8 touchdowns to the tight end, which is second only to the Cardinals. Hawkinson is another one where I'm definitely using him in DFS. You got to make at least one DFS revenge game lineup for Hawkinson. But, dude, anytime touchdown, DJ Hawkinson.
Plus 190.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it all, baby. I mean, if you
put
put
a tight end of the week, TJ Hawkinson, anytime touchdown score.
The problem is though, if you put $100 on each of Thielen and Hawk to score a touchdown, and only one of them does, you lose money because none of them are plus 200. So
yeah,
can't really do that. You kind of got to pick one. Make a DFS lineup.
You rolling with Thielen or Hawkinson if you had to pick one to be an anytime touchdown score?
I think because I think it's pretty even. The chances of either one scoring a touchdown, I would just go with Hawkinson because you make a little extra money if he scores it.
I like that.
Ninja in here saying Hawkinson revenge game. We love a revenge game. Joey, the revenge game king this year.
We got to get that revenge game website up, man. We got to patent that idea.
I was going to do it next year. That was going to be like my project. And then it turns out good buddy Jeff Bell is already doing it.
Nah, let's steal it.
We should.
Let's just do it first.
Did you guys see Jeff Bell's tweet just disparaging Russell Wilson yesterday?
Yeah.
Like Baker Mayfield came out and killed it. And then Jeff tweets, Baker Mayfield threw for 231 yards and 1 touchdown in a win after being with the Rams for 2 days. Russell Wilson has thrown for 230 plus yards and 1 touchdown in a win just once in 2022. So Baker comes in for 2 days, does it in his first game with the Rams after 1 practice. Russ has done it once all season. Yikes, Russ.
I love how we're just now half of covering the NFL is just coming up with new creative ways to just destroy quarterbacks named Wilson. Whether it's Zach or Russ, like that's basically half of Reddit every day is like, here's how bad the Broncos suck. And it's just like a new stat. This is a new stat on why Russell Wilson's a loser. Kind of like it. Kind of love it.
You know what? I did get 1 hat before this season of a new NFL team, and it was a Broncos hat.
That's kind of dope, though.
Maybe it's a thing. I'm going to try it out next season. I'm going to get a new hat of a different team right before the season starts and see if they suck. Maybe I'm the problem.
Dolphins hats are pretty sick. Buccaneers hats are cool, right?
Boo. They don't need Simon's help. They're doing that on their own right now.
How do we get a Bills hat?
Yeah,
Dave in here says Chark plays flanker, if I remember correctly. Shout out Coop. Is that correct? Is he remembering correctly, Coop?
He actually plays split end, Toronto Dave, but pretty close.
Remember, flanker, hardly know her. Who even knows?
Very similar. Very similar. But usually the rule of thumb, so the difference between split end and flanker for anybody out there that doesn't know what I'm talking about. So a split end, the rules of the game dictate you have to have 7 guys on the line, right? 7. So you have your 5 linemen, and then 2 other guys have to have their foot on the line. The other guys have to be back off the line, right? So usually you have one tight end with his foot on the line, and on the other side, that wide receiver is called the split end with his foot tethered to the line, right? The flanker would be if, say, you have a wide receiver on one side, the split end, and the tight end on this side. The wide receiver outside of the tight end, he has to have his foot back off the line. That would make him a flanker, right? So you can't have 2 split ends on the play if you have no tight end. You can either go with 2 tight ends or 2 split ends, but you have to have 2 guys tethered. That's what's going on there. And then, of course, slot is the guy that plays in between those guys, right? In between the split end and the tackle, or in between the tight end and the flanker. So that's
they
what
say, like in like a slot
between them.
Yes. So typically, because you have to have your foot tethered to the line, you can't go in motion. For that guy to go in motion, somebody else needs to come up and tether his foot to the line, and he steps back, and then he goes in motion. Because of that, and because he doesn't have that extra foot of bumper, you have your bigger players typically playing split end. So that's why Mike Evans, you see him up on the line, because the other corner can get right up on him and jam him. You know, that's why he's always fighting Marshawn Lattimore. So you want your big guys up in that split end role and your smaller guys playing slot and flanker so they can move around, create space, go in motion, do those kind of things. So DJ Chark is the split end because he's a lot bigger and he can fight those off compared to Jameson Williams, who plays flanker on the outside, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, who plays in the slot. So that's about as much real football talk as you're going to get on this show, folks.
Yeehaw! And guys, if you're enjoying what we do over here, if you like the stuff we're talking about, if you enjoy hearing us talk football and nonsense, I got good news. You can head on over to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy and subscribe there. It's the easiest way to stay up to date with all the stuff we're putting out, all of our shows. We had Strong Style Ninja in here earlier saying, I had no idea you guys were live at night sometimes in the evenings. Yeah, we got shows all the time. So make sure you guys are subscribed to make sure you don't miss any of them. And Craig in here said, I do not come here for real football talk. There we go. There's our schedule right up there on the screen. So take a screenshot of that, guys, and that is our schedule. Most of it on our channel, some of it over on that FanDuel channel, and a lot of it right here on BSN as well. Cool. So you guys can check all that out. Dave in here saying that was honestly so helpful, Coop. Incredible. Appreciate that. No, for real, Coop. I love maybe we should do football lessons with Coop like once a week. Just give us like
little sports chatter.
Little sports chatter. Just give us like a breakdown of something like that. Because I think we all make assumptions that like we know what a slot wide receiver is, right? Because we hear that, or that everybody knows. Like that's not common knowledge. Like you know what a wide receiver is. We should start doing some of those lessons.
I'm down, man. I mean, I do in the off season. I do that. I post videos on Fantasy Alarm called Coop Scoops. If you go check those out, there's a lot of those. Like just they're like 10 minute videos. But I'm down to do that on here. I got a bunch of those topics that people don't really think about that makes you a better fantasy gamer, right? Because if you really think about that, I'm not going to go too long on this, but like if you really think about that, not everyone can do that, right? So having that ability gets you on the field more often. That's why Corey Davis plays more snaps than these other guys, because he's big and he can do that. Whereas you can't just put 3 smaller guys out there. One of them is going to get his ass kicked trying to play split end. So that's the way that works.
I have a question. How many Coop Scoops were just about new Ben and Jerry's flavors?
Well, there were 2 a week, and 1 a week was about ice cream. So about 50% of them.
I like ice cream. Okay.
So you're gonna want to check. Oh, check at least half of them out.
Doesn't like me. It does not like me.
No.
So I got a dairy-free coconut milk strawberry ice cream in the freezer right now. That's actually pretty good as far as the dairy-free options go.
That sounds terrible.
I know you're making words up again, Simon.
Yeah, sorry for making up coconut. That's my bad right there. What the hell is a coconut?
I don't know. What, they grow on trees?
Something like that. That is terrifying that coconuts grow on trees. I'm sorry. Like just that, like every time when I'm walking around and there's coconuts in a tree, I am constantly on edge.
You could get bonked up, dude.
You could get bonked up. They should not be allowed to be that high. That is a hazard.
At least 12 people die in Florida every year from coconut-related fatalities, according to a study I just made up.
Wow, dude. That's totally real.
That's unbelievable. That's wild. No, but like it's a genuine fear of mine whenever I'm on a beach and there's coconuts around.
Dude, the weirdest ones are how pineapple. Have you guys ever seen how pineapples grow?
Yes, we toured the like pineapple farm, the Dole farm in Hawaii. It blew my mind.
Insanity.
Absolute insanity. Guys, coming up, we have our friend D.O. Ledbetter, reporter for the Atlanta Falcons from the AJC, joining us to talk some Falcons storylines. And boy, we got some big ones. Desmond Ridder getting the start. We're going to ask him all about that.
Yeah.
So that's coming up right soon. Right now, you are listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Live with Rick Kamla. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on Better Sports Network.
Andy Reid is the best current coach in the NFL. He's better than Belichick. Belichick has lost his way. He's better than Tomlin. He's better than Harbaugh. He's better than Shanahan. He's better than McCarthy down in Dallas. He's better than all of the gangster NFL coaches right now. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo, he's better than all these guys. Andy Reid is the greatest gangster that we have at head coach in the NFL right now. And I understand that you're saying, well, Belichick is the GOAT, Cam. How can that be true? Now you're bringing up old stuff. Bill Belichick can't draft anymore, okay? Talk to me. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Talk to me. DK Metcalf, Debo Samuel versus N'Keal Harry, okay? Talk to me. This dude has lost his way. Remember the year when he should have bottomed out and just tanked, but he couldn't, and he went and got Cam Newton, and they were a mediocre team, right? He's lost his way. And not that he can't coach up a good defense and that kind of thing, but overall, he's lost his way. Andy Reid's an absolute badass. They draft great. He's a great coach, makes the right decisions, when to go for it, when to kick, when to punt. The guy's the man.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I hate the stupid unsportsmanlike conduct. As long as you're not disrespectful to the opponent, you should be allowed to celebrate.
how I used to say it, and to bring up, because now basketball's starting to bring up.
Oh, dude, it's even worse in basketball, isn't it?
So Dikembe Mutombo, who used to get teed up in the 2000s, in the 90s, they didn't give a crap. 2000s, though, when they tightened up the rules, they used to tee him up more when he did the Dikembe finger wag. But they wouldn't tee him up if he did it to the crowd instead of looking at like Eton Thomas, like one time I remember, and doing it right to him, or when his back was turned, doing it right to him. If he did it to the crowd, they would never call it. And so that makes me wonder if these players, while, yeah, they want to talk a little smack, maybe they should flex towards the crowd than at the player who they're standing over.
I guess.
I know it's soft, man.
It is soft.
Because you know what?
Like we're gonna give 15 yards for that,
bro. They think that, you know, want to know why they're paranoid? They think that's gonna turn into a fight.
See, I disagree with that. That's not gonna start a fight.
I agree with you. They don't agree with
It's
us.
one thing, okay, if you spit in someone's face or say something derogatory, like about their family or something,
right?
Yeah, that can incite it. But if you're just like, yeah, I made that play, what? You know what I mean? Like, again, they know the rules. You got to know you're going to get flagged. You have to have discipline. But, like, I don't know. I have no problem with celebration as long as it's not disrespectful.
What's disrespectful? You know,
it's interpretation, and that's my problem. Watch, it's going to cost someone in a big playoff game, and that's when people are going to go crazy. There'll be a third down play. Someone makes a pass breakup, and they're in someone's face. They're going to throw a flag. It'll extend the drive. That team scores, wins the playoff game because of it. You need something drastic for it to really leave an imprint, and I hope that doesn't happen to mine.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
Welcome back in, everyone, to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We've got D.O. Ledbetter joining the show shortly, but before that, I wanted to give everyone a reminder about something. On this BSN app, you can get on-demand access to all of our talk shows whenever you want, right on the app. Plus our best interviews, features, and special events with just one push of a button. BSN On Demand is included with all of your subscriptions. So all of your subscription plans. So just go to your user profile page on the app, select the monthly or the yearly package to hear every BSN talk show on demand, plus compelling conversations with guests. We had Ahman Green on the show right here. You can see that interview on demand. Green is right over there. Steve Phillips coming on a little bit later today with Kyle and Ray. You're going to be able to watch that one on demand as well if you can't catch it at 1 p.m. And Scott Rogowski was on the show not too long ago. Quiz Daddy himself. And, of course, D.O. Ledbetter coming on right after this.
D.O.'s one of my favorites, bro.
Oh,
He's
man,
great,
I'm so
dude.
excited. Yeah. If you miss this, or if you've got some friends who are missing this right now, you think need to hear the D.O. Ledbetter interview, all of that can be found on demand. Again, just go to your profile, select the monthly or yearly plan, whatever works best for you, and you'll have access to all of the BSN on demand right in that application. If you're not sick of us, you can find more of us right there. More of Coop's handsome face.
Yeah. So let's before Dio comes on, let's talk. We got a couple of these. We've been blessed with a couple of these shootout games. Some of these weeks, there's not ones that are really projected to be monster shootout games. But how about this this Sunday night game? We got a nice Sunday night game coming up with the Dolphins Chargers, Simon. We have over under 52.5 points. Chargers favored by 3.5 at home. Usually the home team gets 3 points. So, you know, they would be favorites at a neutral location. But boy, that one could be an electric fire, my boys.
I'm seeing the Dolphins favored by 3.5 where I'm looking on the road here. Is that what you said?
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right. No, that's right. Dolphins are favored 3.5. That's actually kind of wild that they're favored by that much going into Charger Town. But I mean, Chargers are 6-6. Do you think the Chargers can cover that?
I'm taking the Dolphins in this one. I think this is a Dolphins game. That Chargers defense has not been great against the run. I think they're going to be able to get the run game going. That's going to open up Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and this team's going to waltz. But that Chargers offense is no joke. No joke. So this should be a shootout, right? Yeah. We're not just going to be sitting here talking about like a Chargers team that can't get it going.
I'm trying to think of a player I don't want to start in that game, and it's very difficult. I mean, I think I don't want to start Raheem Mostert, but like that's the thing, is the second running back on the Dolphins is who I'm thinking of not starting. So yeah, start them
Guys,
all in that game.
Joining us right now, coming to the stage to talk some Falcons with us, we've got award-winning Atlanta Journal-Constitution Falcons beat writer D.O. Ledbetter coming on the show. D.O., can you hear us, my friend?
Yes, I can. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining today. We've been hyped to get you back on, and that was before some of this Falcons news that has dropped recently. Now we're even more excited, my friend, but appreciate you taking the time this morning.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, a little bit newsy for the bye week here.
Yeah, probably the most exciting bye week in a while, man. So, Dio, we got to ask you the obvious question first. Earlier this year, we had you on, and you kind of, I'm not going to lie, you poured quite a bit of cold water on the Desmond Ridder hype at the time because people were saying, oh, 2 games in, 3 games in, we're going to see Desmond Ridder. And you were like, no. Now, they really are committed to the Mariota reclamation project. They want to see what this looks like. Desmond's got, he's got some work to do. He's looking a little bit raw. And you basically said we weren't going to see him early. If anything, maybe towards the end of the year. Sure enough, you were correct because your deal led better. So, but now we are seeing him towards the end of the year. How you feeling about it, man? What you got going on over there?
Yeah, I'm. It's a good look at this point in the season. You kind of, gave Mariota a chance to, improve in the passing game. He really hasn't. They did run the ball well, but 31st passing, it just didn't get better. And, it was a point to where, you couldn't win games because people were, taking some possessions away and they just weren't producing in the passing game. So Ridder gives them a better option there now. And, he throws it a little bit better down the field than Mariota, but he won't run it as well as Mariota. So that'll be the different look that he'll bring to the team.
Interesting. So you think that he's going to throw more downfield, less running. So Drake London's already a guy that we had our eyes on. Do you think any of these other guys, Almid Zacchaeus, Kaderil Hodge, any of them can maybe become relevant for fantasy football? Who should we keep our eyes on with this new pass attack?
Yeah, London is the main target. They worked out together. They already kind of got a rapport. So, yeah, I'm thinking he's going to lean heavily on London here. And then the kind of safety valve guy will be McCole Pruitt, the tight end, who's, getting some of the Kyle Pitts action. So he would be the second one to me. The kids has been highly productive, given his targets and so forth. So I think that will remain. But, yeah, I got my eye on. I want to see what the Ridder to London connection looks like down the stretch.
Man, so what are the vibes around Ridder in there? Is there excitement? Are the expectations high whenever he comes in here? Is this very much so let's see what we've got in this rookie? Like our season is done. Mariota's not the answer. Let's see if Desmond Ridder shows us something promising.
Yeah. Expectations are through the roof. Even you got to remind people, hey, it was a 3rd round pick. But he's not Trevor Lawrence. So but yeah, the expectations are probably sky high. The folks want to see him. Some of them felt he should have been starting anyway. But they wanted to take their time and get him ready to play. Let him run the scout team. Let him, learn the game plan, what all it takes to learn the game plan. And then, of course, Coach Arthur Smith for Taylor, his play calling to fit Ridder, which he did a great job of to fit Mariota. And, probably won't see as many RPOs and stuff like that. But, they're ready to hand the keys over to Ridder and see what he's got.
Now, the Falcons are sitting there 5-8. Typically you would say, hey, you know what? Time to wrap it up, potentially, see what you got in some other players here. But the division leading Buccaneers only have 6 wins. It's still on the table. What do you think? What do you think the odds are here of this team kind of sneaking into the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't think they're very good, but it's not a daunting. The defense just hasn't played, well enough to think they can run the table here. They got the Saints at the Ravens, Cardinals, and then close out against the Bucs. Which maybe you could get to that last game and have a little excitement for that last game against the Bucs. But the defense has just been giving up too much on the ground. And I don't know how that gets better down the stretch.
Could be fun to maybe spoil a wild card team season, though, if you could sneak in there and just, pull off any given Sunday, right? That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, no doubt. It could, it's possible. Don't never say never. Got to go down the state, beat the Saints, and then you got to go to Baltimore and maybe beat the Ravens without Lamar. Get that started. Then you go. Arizona comes in, and then you got to wrap up with Tampa Bay. So it's doable. It's definitely doable.
Man, I grew up in Atlanta, so around a ton of Falcons fans, and I knew the Falcons fans don't like the Saints. But then I visited New Orleans, and the level of hatred directed from New Orleans to Atlanta was unreal. Like the New Orleans Saints fans hate the Falcons on like the pettiest level of hatred that I see in the NFL. It's absurd. Do the Falcons players, is there like extra heat on that game whenever they go to play the Saints in New Orleans?
Oh yeah, and it's been that way for decades. And they'll have some 28-3 references on the scoreboard, and they'll go in on the Falcons every chance they get. They're real petty. Falcons fans are real petty. Both of those cities are so close together. It's been like that for decades since they both came into the league, and it heightened when the teams are pretty good during the early 2000s.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love some sports rivalry stuff, and the Saints Falcons going back and forth. Those just petty little jabs get me excited every single time. You mentioned Arthur Smith a second ago doing a great job with Ritter here, but we can't ignore the rumors that have been going around. People start talking this time of year whenever teams are underperforming about Arthur Smith potentially being on the hot seat. Do you think his job is secure, or do you think there's talks around the organization that his job is in jeopardy?
Oh, no, I think he's secure. They really like what he's done with these two teams, that were undermanned, and they had to kind of strip him down. He's playing with one hand behind his back with $77 million in dead cap space. They see what he's doing, what he's building, and the fact that they play hard. So when you get better talent and they keep playing hard, they're going to give him in the year 3, year 4 to take off and be a legitimate playoff team, not one of these, hope and prayer playoff teams.
Yeah. Now you mentioned that cap space, the hit this year, the dead cap, a lot of it tied to Matt Ryan. Next year, though, the Falcons looking like they're going to potentially have the second most cap space behind only the Bears. They're up there with teams like the Giants. We know that Amazon TV deal money is going to be hitting, so could be a big chunk of change there. What would you like to see the Falcons do this offseason? Where do you think they need to drop the bag if they're going to try and compete?
Yeah, on the line. Both, pass rush has been an issue. Protecting the quarterback's been an issue. Mariota had 28 sacks, so they're on pace to have another 40-sack season. So, you gotta be able to run the ball and drop back a little bit and beat some people up. They don't beat anybody up. They taking a lot of shots, especially in the run game. I gotta stop the run. Got to be able to run the ball and protect the quarterback. So I spend all that money on. I get every offensive lineman out on the street.
I love that deal. That's the way to do it. That's the formula. You look at teams like the Dolphins, teams like the Lions right now. You invest in those guys in the trenches. Those guys play till they're you look at some of the offensive and defensive linemen. Those guys are still very effective at 32, 33, 34 years old. That's where you build it. And then you go out and get the luxury pieces, the running backs, the corners, these guys that, once they start hitting 28, 29, they fall off the map. So I like that direction of going it. Load up on the line. And then when you're ready to compete, you go out and get the hired guns. So I appreciate you being level-headed like that, Dio, because so many people would just be like, yeah, let's get a running back, right? It's like, no, dude, running back, that's down the road, right, for this team?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. You got, Tyler Algier doing a good job as a 5th round pick. But yeah, you can definitely see them going back in and getting another running back. Cordarrelle Patterson's 31, he's 32 next year. Signed a 2-year deal, so it's really a 1 year. So yeah, you can definitely see him upgrading the running back position.
Hey, now speaking of those two guys, real quick, we do have a lot of people that watch a show for fantasy football. In terms of the split between those two guys, between Patterson and Algier, what do you see in there, and what can we kind of expect down the stretch? Like, if you had to pick one of those guys to start in fantasy football, rest of the way, which one do you think is the more effective option?
Yeah, I think the volume is going to go to Cordarrelle Patterson. Although Algier, it looks like a 7. He wants a 7-30 split, but he's been getting in these funky games because the defense can't get out the field where they're only getting about 50 plays and so forth, 57 plays. So, they have to get away from the run kind of quick because they're getting behind with, these 10 and 12 play drives and so forth. So it's kind of hard. But I would go with CP. I would stay with him and, and then switch it up if it doesn't work that way in the game against the Saints and the Ravens game. That's definitely going to be run-heavy game. So, should be okay with either one. But, I would stick with Patterson for now.
Well, you're right. I'm looking at it now, and they haven't run more than 60 snaps in a game since week 10. And, average teams live around 60, 65. So, yeah, you're right. The offense, not spending a whole lot of time on the field.
So maybe that explains it, because Patterson faked me out with that game 1 this week. 22 carries on the ground. I was like, good God. If Patterson's going to get the receiving work he got last year and then add this level of rushing work, he's going to be unstoppable. But he hasn't been nearly as involved in the receiving game this year compared to last year, it feels like. Is that a purposeful decision, Dio, for Cordarrelle Patterson to maybe take more of a rushing role and less in the receiving game?
Yeah, that was early on. But I think with Kyle Pitts out, I was thinking they were going to shift more back to him and flank him out a little bit more, but we haven't necessarily seen that. That's certainly still an option for them going down the stretch.
Man, I really wish with Desmond Ridder coming in here that we could have seen Desmond Ridder to Kyle Pitts, right? Like, you want to see the young quarterback to the young tight end, see if there's that connection there. It's just, man, heartbreaking that we're not going to get to see that this season.
Desmond Ridder, Kyle Pitts, and Calvin Ridley and Drake London. That would have been so cool, man.
That would have been fun, right?
Calvin Ridley, you idiot. I'm sorry, but come on, man. That would have been so much fun.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been a lot. Yeah, that would have been a lot to deal with. That opened up a lot of run lanes too.
Yeah, for real. So Gio, let me ask you then, shifting from the Falcons, I'm sure you talk Falcons all the time, all day. Let me ask, as far as this year, the Super Bowl, who are your picks, man? At this point, who do you think is coming out of the AFC? Who do you think is coming out of the NFC? And if you had to put your money on it, if you had to put a chip on one team to take it down this year, who are you feeling, man? Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm intrigued with the Chiefs. In the AFC, I think they can, certainly can get there. Coach Andy will have them ready for Buffalo. Tennessee's falling off, so in the AFC, I'm all in on the Chiefs. The NFC, it's the Cowboys or the Eagles, and I like what the Cowboys are doing. The numbers they're putting up, I want to see them do that, and get some good teams. I want to see if they can carry that to the playoffs. But yeah, I'm thinking of Cowboys, Chiefs, and the old school Super Bowl.
Yeah,
man, I know Joey would be excited to hear you say that. He's been pumping it up for weeks now that he thinks the Cowboys are the best team in the NFC. Sorry, Eagles fans, and that they're going to make a Super Bowl run, at least end up in that game.
Two very well-rounded teams, it seems. Like those historically, people, they dog the Cowboys and Jerry Jones for loading up on offense, not doing enough on defense. But man, that defense might be the best part of that team this year. And the Eagles as well, with the two premier cornerbacks, very well-rounded teams there. But, like you said, the Chiefs, when they get hot, and they are scorching right now.
Yeah,
You're
no
absolute-
question
you're
about
absolute.
it. And yep, no question about it. Chiefs are looking great.
Looking great down there, man. There's some from the division. Do you think the Bucs are going to be the team that ends up making it into the playoffs? Like, if you had to guess right now, or is your money going towards the Buccaneers?
Yeah, they got a couple tough ones. But yeah, they're the only team that looks, they've got a functional, defense. And, the Saints defense is pretty good, but they can't do anything on offense. So the Bucs got a defense and a little, Tom Brady on offense, figuring things out late in games and so forth. So, I think the Bucs are the leader in the clubhouse to get the NFC South title. But, anything can happen when everybody's all bunched together like this.
Yeah, I said it the other day, man, where it's like people making jokes about the NFC South and thinks that a team has to make the playoffs from that division, blah, blah, blah. But I'll tell you right now, man, when wild card weekend comes and these teams are sitting there warming up and they look across the field and see Tom Brady over there getting ready to play, they're going to be at least a little bit nervous. It's not going to be so funny when when it's one game and loser goes home and Tom Brady's on the other team. So I'll tell you right now, get your jokes in now, because if that happens, you can count on Tom Brady to make some noise, right?
Yeah, no question about it. And this goes in cycles. I remember Seattle going in at 8-8, and that had the big Marshawn run and knocked the Saints, higher ranked Saints team out.
The Beastquake.
The Beastquake. And Carolina went in at a 7-8-1 team, I believe. Numbers may be off a little bit, but started their run and ended up with them going to the Super Bowl a few years later with Cam at quarterback. So it goes in cycles where the one division is a little off, but that doesn't mean that you want to write them off when you get to the playoffs. It's certainly not the greatest quarterback of the modern era, Tom Brady. You definitely don't want to probably see him in the first round of the playoffs.
I'll tell you right now, as a Patriots fan, man, like, it's about getting hot at the right time. Because I remember once upon a time where the Patriots were, that hotness, and the Giants limped into the playoffs with Eli Manning, but they got hot at the right time. The defense got hot at the right time, and they, I think they were like 9-7 or whatever when they made the playoffs, and they won the Super Bowl against the goddamn juggernaut Patriots, and broke my little heart. So, broke my sweet little heart, those bastards. So, it's about getting hot at the right time. One more Tom Brady question. Do you think, in your opinion, I know it's hard to say, and this guy, clearly changes his mind at the drop of a hat, but do you think we see another year of Tom Brady, or do you think this is the last one for him here, the last ride?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's the last ride. Certainly, it was just so difficult in public of a year for him, but he's gonna probably weigh both sides. I was like, hey, what if I come back and it's normal next year? But he's got to realize, hey, he's dealing with real life problems at 45. It doesn't ever get normal. So
right, yeah.
I kind of am just enjoying it as his last ride. He's got to go off into the sunset at some point. At some point, why do you put yourself through all this at 45 and 46? But yeah, we don't want. I don't want him to see him out there taking on hits like Matt Ryan is, and I remember Brett Favre at the end in that Minnesota uniform just getting lit up. So yeah, I kind of want him to get out of harm's way here if that's even possible.
Yeah. Plus, his next, he's got to get ready for he's got to gear up for his presidential run for 2024. So,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Got my vote.
Mr. Brady.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Well, I don't know. The athletes down here in Georgia didn't do too well.
Sorry, Herschel.
Oops. Yeah.
Not that sorry, though.
Sorry.
Dio, I did want to ask you about some of these matchups this week, and we've got some pretty interesting games, and we just talked that the Eagles were potentially the best team in the NFC, but they're traveling to New York, or they're traveling to New Jersey this week to play the New York Giants. They're 7-point favorites. You think the Eagles come out on top on this one, continue their positive season so far? Do you think the Giants are going to make some noise?
Yeah, I think the Eagles are a step above the Giants. The Giants are, having a remarkable year, but they're kind of maxing out. You saw that in the tie game with the Commanders. So, yeah, I think the Eagles are a little bit better offensively, certainly, and definitely can have some answers for the Giants on offense. So they have enough firepower to handle the Giants up there in the old Meadowlands, now MetLife.
Yeah. Before we let you go, I do want to ask one last one on this Sunday night game, because it is one of the better matchups we see for these Sunday night games. They got Patriots Cardinals on Monday, which is kind of a whack one, but Miami going into Los Angeles, 52.5 over under. Miami favored by 3.5. Do you think the Chargers can hold off the Dolphins here, or do you think the Dolphins are just the better team?
Yeah, I think the Dolphins are, they're in the bounce back mode. They're gonna want to get right. Chargers just kind of been floundering about, aimlessly. So yeah, I like the over in that one. I like the over, and I like the Dolphins getting right and getting back on track to continue their march to the playoffs.
I love a good over as a fantasy football and general football enthusiast. Give me the over.
Yeah, we hate cheering for unders over here. Dio, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us today. It is truly always a pleasure, my man.
Sure, no problem, guys. Thanks for having me. Have a great weekend.
You too, and everybody listening, if you are not already following Dio Ledbetter, go and fix that right now. He will keep you up to date, keep you smart on everything Falcons, and the football knowledge is out of this world. You can find him on Twitter at DOrlandoAJC. Make sure you go over there and follow him. Dio, have a good weekend, my man, and enjoy the bye week.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to watch some games like everybody else. Thanks for having me.
Let's do it. Have a good one, my man.
Man, what a dude, man. I like Dio, dude. Desmond, I want to root for Desmond Ridder. I really do. Again, I'm a borderline professional pot stirrer on this show. So I always want to see the crazy hype play. I want Baker Mayfield to start. I want Malik Willis in the game. I want Desmond Ridder. Give me the craziness. I don't care if they get blown out, they lose 35-0. I just want to see craziness. I don't want to see any more Marcus Mariota. I'm tired of Ryan Tannehill. Right? Like,
this is my Love Island. This is my Bachelor. This is where I want my drama to happen. I'm with you, Coop.
Exactly, dude. Give me the smoke. Let's get something crazy going. Let's talk about some wild stuff, dude. I
hope Ridder does well, but I hope they lose every game. Like
as a Bucs fan.
Yeah.
As is your right.
Guys, that is gonna be
zappy, Tommy. Get out of here with that.
That's going to be it for us today. But I wanted to thank every single person who stuck around and hung out with us. We really appreciate it. We are going to be live this Sunday. Coop is on from 9 to 11. Then Joey and myself with JL from 11 to 1 p.m. Eastern time for pre-gaming with FYF. So come hang out with us on Sunday. And then we'll be back Monday morning breaking down all those games, talking football, talking nonsense, talking hogs from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time on Monday. Until then, though, we are out of here, everyone. Enjoy your weekend of football. Enjoy your World Cup matches. Go Netherlands. Adios, everyone.
Bye.